Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome in. It is another day and more laughter, as always expected, coming up here on this show. Keith Smith, NBA contributor for Spot Track, comes up at 2:20. Looking forward to that. Again, we know he's, some Celtics fan in him. So I want to get his thoughts on everything being talked about concerning Giannis and proposed trade rumors that are out there. Also coming up at 3 o'clock, also want to talk about our guys to the south of us, because it appears they're having some problems down there, as they are now 500. Yes, that is true. They are 500 now, are the Chicago Cubs. And an interesting piece on The Athletic today by Ken Rosenthal, talking about the Chicago Cubs and the MLB trade deadline. And if things continue to go the way they go, what essentially the Cubs may be willing to move on from going forward. So got to get into that a little bit. Then at 4 o'clock, Green and Gold update, another mini camp practice today in Green Bay. So we'll discuss that too. There's been a lot of conversation going on about the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and everybody seemingly now is sparking this debate back up again and wanting to have the debate. And LeBron, is out there saying, well, it's me. Like I'm going to say it's me kind of going forward. So that's where he's at right now, that he thinks it's him. However, others clearly not agreeing with LeBron on this. So we'll get to all of that coming up at around 4:20 or so today. So looking forward to that as well. I want to get to one thing specifically because, if you listen to this show, you know the mood I'm in. Yes, sir. That is right. Hey, I don't know how y'all didn't think this was going to be played today. Now, if you know the history of me, normally, this song normally would play after, say, I don't know, a Bucks victory, right? You'd have this after a Bucks victory, and that would be the music we'd play to start the show. The show open would play, boom, I'd fire this, and away we go.
I like that.
And Charlie, you've been with us doing post-game shows after Bucks games and so forth, and pretty excited. But that was only brought out for wins. Like, I wouldn't just randomly play it just to play it. In fact, I don't know the last time or if ever we've played that song on Wisconsin Sports Daily, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know we've ever played that song on the show.
Bring that back. That's the most groove I've ever seen you have.
I am so happy for you.
You are.
I am. Yeah. I really am.
Don't ruin this.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, no, don't ruin this. I'm just trying to make sure I have all the sound that I need.
I'm so happy for you.
So this is the thing. I'm sitting at home last night, and I'm watching the Brewers game and so forth. And as the game is going on, moves are being made, and then you hear it was Dillard, right? Dillard was on in the game.
Dillard
right?
was there.
Yeah.
Yep. Dillard was on the call.
Dillard makes a comment while the Brewers are batting. He's like, This is going to be an interesting defensive lineman for the Brewers coming up in the next half inning. I was like, well, maybe. That's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe this will happen. I'm not convinced it's going to happen, but maybe it's going to happen. Now, I wanted Tommy to pull them saying this on the broadcast when they went over the defensive alignment, but I don't think we actually pulled that, right? We didn't actually.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We did.
It's in there.
Okay, then Charlie, see if you can find it. All I see is the one hit, and I don't see the actual.
Are you in the right day?
Because 610. That was yesterday.
Yeah, 610 Brewers folder.
610 Brewers folder. Yeah,
it was. I played it today on Crosby's show. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. But either way, here I'm just gonna play what I've got. So this ends up happening.
To the left side, Vaughn gets a try, looks the runner back and throws him out. Ball finds you no matter where you are.
Ball does find you no matter where you are. And where Andrew Vaughn was at third base. Huh? Third base. Yes, sir.
I was very happy for you. As soon as it happened, I texted you.
I texted him too.
We were thinking of you.
I was more than just
immediately-
you two. Trust me.
Yeah.
My phone was blowing up. Hey, MLB insider Tim Dillard every Monday at 2:20 on this show. Because nobody else had Vaughn doing stuff at third other than Tim Dillard. Nobody else. And remember, Charlie,
He didn't even believe in it. Though.
Shut up. He came on the air. He said what he said. I got all excited, right?
Yeah.
What happened? The next week, he sends me a video, texts me a video after he's off the air. There's Vaughn fielding ground balls at third. I'm showing everybody the video. I'm like, oh, here we go. Right. Y'all trying to stomp on my dreams. And I said, you mark my words, he's going to get in at some point at third base. He got in at third base. Then, do you know what my next thought was? Okay, if the ball gets hit to you, please don't boot it. don't boot it. Don't throw the ball way over the first baseman.
It's like it was this child playing third base.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it was like it was my child out there. Oh my God, please don't screw it up when the ball gets to you. That ball goes. I see Vaughn. I was like, oh no. Boom, throws. I'm like, yes. I text Tommy. I'm like, Vaughn, Gold Glove.
He did like a perfect look back to second base.
No,
it was beautiful.
Play the highlight one more time. Play it one more time.
To the left side, Vaughn gets a try, looks the runner back, and throws him out. Ball finds you no matter where you are.
That is the best.
So
that highlight is the best endorsement for Andrew Vaughn at third base because of how casual Jeff Levering made the call.
I wish he hyped it up more. They went into like an ad read immediately after that.
No,
which I thought was funny.
No, that's good, Charlie.
No, I wanted more. Dude,
no.
I wanted more for Sparky.
No, Jeff. No, this is the best endorsement possible because this was a one-run ball game in a stadium that is showcased. 4 runs is typically not going to be enough to win in that game.
Yeah.
And the Brewers had the top of their order coming up in the 9th, so you would assume that they were hoping to at least score 1 because you're going to have to play this bottom of the 9th again with the same defensive alignment, and Pat Murphy was willing to do that by pinch hitting in the 8th. If Jeff Levering makes a big deal out of it, then it's the fat guy trying hard running around the track, Charlie, right? Like then it's like, oh, this is a guy who had to fill in today and he's not, the little engine that could type motivation all the time. A plain, easy ground ball that gets hit to him, acting like nothing ever happened. Now he's comfortable. Now it looks like he belongs at third base. And I couldn't help but put a grin on my face thinking of Stephen James Pfeiffer IV.
Literally, I'm sitting on the couch. Kay is in the kitchen getting food, wherever she was in the kitchen. And all the kids are sleeping, mind you, upstairs. And they're like, and the third base, Andrew Vaughn. And I literally go like this, yes! And she goes in she's like, what happened? I was like, they're playing Vaughn at third. She goes, so what?
And they're losing.
Exactly.
They're losing
I did not care about the result
that
of the
win
game.
was way bigger for Sparky than it was for the Athletics yesterday. It was way bigger for Sparky.
Yes, it was.
And now
we can really gain some momentum.
Now you have now you are going to be insufferable on this take.
Only insufferable if they actually let him
They
play.
weren't even playing him against righties until yesterday.
But if he could play against righties at third base,
oh no, I'm not. I'm now on your team. Now I'm on your side.
Come on,
I've switched up.
It was one ground ball. Now you're on my side.
100%. If they're willing to try it in a game with that much meaning to it, where you were going to play him 2 innings there because you wanted to tie or win that game in the 9th or extra innings.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm on your team. I thought it was something they had given up on because every MLB team had given up on it. He hadn't played that position. He played 10 innings in 2021 at third base. That is it.
For the White Sox, that was it. 2 games.
And now, if you're willing to try it in a leverage position in a baseball game, Pat Murphy, you got to give him a full game. You got to give him a full game to at least see what happens. You gave Ryan Braun the chance and he sucked and you moved him. Okay, you moved on from there. But it's not like Luis Rengifo provides Gold Glove defense either on that side. And he's definitely not worth keeping his bat in the lineup. So now I am all in with Sparky. If you're willing to try it in those moments, Pat, you got to give him a game to at least see it in full force.
Were you excited about Rengifo at second, Sparky?
No, I didn't care about Rengifo at second. But it was something different. I was excited about Terang at short.
Yes.
That I was excited about because I like having Terang at short. I've got absolutely no problem with that
whatsoever.
whatsoever.
To be fair, to set it up, they did pinch hit David Hamilton and Joey Ortiz in the 8th inning. So David Hamilton was pinch hit. Rengifo pinch hit for Hamilton, and then Contreras pinch hit for Joey Ortiz. So in order to move this around, they moved the whole infield up, right? It was Contreras was now behind the dish. Sanchez was at first base, who also has not played well at first base, but he was willing to put it in a leverage situation there. Rengifo second, Terang short, and our guy Andrew Vaughn at third.
Let me put something in perspective here. Adam McKelvey put out a piece not too long ago on X, okay? And was talking about Pratt and Lara and their possibility of getting called up. And he talks to Matt Arnold in this piece. And Matt Arnold pretty much, I'll sum it up for he says, we're playing well. We're not going to screw around with our roster. Pretty much what he says. But in this piece, Adam McKelvey writes this: using weighted runs created plus as a good all-around measure of offensive production, the Brewers finished Wednesday's series finale against the A's ranked 30th out of 30 teams in production from shortstops, 25th from right fielders, and 22nd at third base. That translates into the Brewers being 42%, 32%, and 21% below MLB average at those spots in terms of hitting. Pratt producing a 768 OPS for Nashville. Lara going off to the tune of a 940 OPS. Are the Brewers any closer to considering call-ups? Arnold said, quote, there are so many different ingredients to that. We have a really good thing going here in the big leagues. The team is playing well, and we want to continue to ride that wave. It's conversations we're having internally and certainly, but we want to just continue to support the team. Now, in this article, they talk about a certain date. That certain date is June 16th. And that is when you can trade anybody that signed a contract in the previous offseason.
Yes.
June 16th. So at that point, if they wanted to release Rengifo and then potentially trade him after everybody says, okay, he's available, we'll give you a cash for him or whatever, they then can do that and open up a spot. The issue still becomes the same thing. I don't want anybody brought up to this roster unless they're playing 5 days a week. I don't want Lara being called up and he plays 1 day a week. That's pointless. I don't want Cooper Pratt brought up here or Jet Williams and he's playing 2 days a week. Like if you're bringing him up, play him there every day and let's move on. So the one aspect of this could be that Cooper Pratt gets brought up and then Joey Ortiz goes to third, I guess. But guys, this is not that hard. If Lara comes up and he's your center fielder and Garrett Mitchell goes over to right field if he's outperforming Sal Frelick and Vaughn is at third base, this lineup is ready.
Assuming Luis Lara is good when he comes up. Then.
Right.
Yes.
Sure. But then all of a sudden, he doesn't have to be good. He just has to be Major League Baseball average, and he's better than Frelick.
Well, he has to be above those guys in your mind. That's
correct.
all it has to be.
Right.
He doesn't even have to play well. He has to
Frelick's
play
below
better.
average, right?
It's interesting in
and
that
he's
article.
A Gold Glove center fielder like that. There's no question about his defense. That's the only damn reason Joey Ortiz has a job, and he hasn't even been Gold Glove level right now.
And I think it was interesting in the article you just read off from McKelvey how he included right field in this article, right? Because
he put Sal in there.
He included Sal Frelick's position. Everyone knows what the left side of the infield has been to this point. Sal Frelick, it feels like this Luis Lara contract is a hindsight 2020, what they were thinking about with trading Caleb Durbin, right? When they traded Caleb Durbin, it was, and Isaac Collins for that matter, it was sell high on guys who performed as well as they think they're going to perform at the major league level.
That's the Brewers way.
And now, are they having thoughts about that with a guy like Sal Frelick, who they saw do fantastic work the last 2 seasons?
Should have been last year you traded him then.
Well, and last year he hit, I believe, 288.
Yes,
last
should have been last year then.
And they did not sell high on Sal Frelick.
Correct.
And are they now suffering because they did not make a move on that when they should have made a move on that? And now they lock up a different outfielder who they think could provide at the major league level, maybe a little bit more than a Sal Frelick.
Now, I will do my just due here. We're not halfway through the month. Go look at Frelick and Mitchell. They're both hitting like 275, 285 in the month of June.
Yes.
Both of them are playing well this month.
Yes.
So that's the other part of how this all works in. 920 says, the biggest issue I have in that 8th inning, why the hell was Rengifo pinch hitting? I trust Ortiz more than him, and that's not much. No, I can't say that. No way.
I
trust Ortiz.
Hate the argument.
I trust Ortiz more than I trust Perkins. That's about it on the roster. I would trust Rengifo over Ortiz to hit.
Got to hit.
Yeah.
It was a crappy hit.
I trust Rengifo over Ortiz.
Beat it out. Good hustle.
You know what? Hit a freaking home run, Luis Rengifo.
Please, dude.
Like, you just played in Colorado and Las Vegas, which we just saw was the most ridiculous ballpark you could put Major League Baseball players
he's got
in.
15 to 20 home run power.
And you got to hit one. You can't have the same amount of home runs as Sparky and be on the big league roster on June 16th.
Speaking of Sparky, Ziggy uses the Nicolay Law Talking text line and says, I yelled, Sparky got his wish, and proceeded to tweet the station. My girlfriend probably asked, who's Sparky? And Ziggy says she doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. She doesn't have to get it.
Yeah. If she knew Andrew Vaughn was hitting 370, she'd want him at third base too.
Just write the lineup up with Laura and Mitchell in right, and then at third base is Vaughn, and tell me how much better the lineup looks.
And then you want Hamilton at short or Ortiz at short?
I don't give a crap who's at short. I'll take the other positions being filled. I mean, Hamilton's hitting better than he is.
Yeah.
So if it's based on offense, I guess it's Hamilton.
The victory cigar, like we discussed before.
And Hamilton is the speed on the base pass that can change a game as well.
Well, also would make sense to keep him around, right? Like keep him on the bench, and then you can throw him in on the base pass whenever you need it to.
Absolutely.
So, and I told that to Mitch today, that regardless of October, if Hamilton is playing or not, he will be on the roster just because of his speed.
1,000.
He is a Dave Roberts, Terrence Gore. He will be on that roster.
They will not cut him. He can bunt, he can steal, he can play defense. Yes, he's on this roster. Perkins and Ortiz, I'm not so sure of that. Keith Smith, NBA contributor for Spot Track, joins us coming up next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Buy yourself an Andrew Vaughn jersey. Welcome back, Wisconsin Sports Daily. C Sparky 5 with you. Charlie Usen over there doing his thing. Celebrating Andrew Vaughn playing third base yesterday was a day that will be remembered forever in the history of the Brewers franchise. Tommy walks out of here laughing. I'm serious, man. This could change everything. If Vaughn can play third, that changes everything as far as having to worry about
trade
that.
Fisher then, Sparky?
No. No, because Fisher can play first.
Well,
or Vaughn can move to first once
really
Bowers is out of the way. Vaughn can go over to first, and then Fisher plays third.
I want another like just big dude at first base.
Well, Burke is a big dude.
I love big first baseman. That's my favorite like sports guy.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those in history that you can go back and look at.
And like big nose tackles.
Well, like Vogelbach is in the dugout for the Brewers. That's one. There he is, Keith Smith, joining us now. That's Hotline powered by Gruber Law. Me a contributor for Spot Track, longtime friend of coming on any show that I'm on. I love talking to this dude, even though there's some Celtics stuff with him. That's okay. I get over it. Keith, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. You having me. Thank you.
You got to help me out here, man, because Bill Simmons is driving me crazy. He just drives me nuts. He has for a long, long time. He wrote an article years ago. I forgot. This had to be like back in 05, 06. I could be the GM of the Milwaukee Bucks. At that point, I was like, I'm done. I'm all done. No, you couldn't. So first of all, Bill Simmons this whole time has been saying Celtics aren't interested. Nope, not happening. And now last night, oh, well, maybe they're playing possum. Maybe they are interested after all. You're all over the Celtics. So what can you tell me about their interest and how it pertains to Giannis or how it pertains to potentially Portland? Because now there's rumblings that Portland could be the third team and they get Jaylen Brown at the end of the day. And then the picks that they got from the Bucks, they send back and they become a part of this whole thing.
Yeah, it's always seemed unlikely that Boston and Milwaukee as direct trade partners was probably not going to be the way this would go down. Doesn't make sense for the Bucks to take back Jaylen Brown. That's the only real deal structure that works for the Celtics. There are other ways they could get to the matching salary, but then you're talking about having a team of Giannis, Tatum, and Brown, and me and you, and that's know where we're at, right? You're just not going to have any depth. So, but for the Bucks, if you're resetting, you don't really necessarily need Jaylen Brown unless the idea is, hey, he helped carry a team to a unlikely number 2 seed. We want to try to be competitive. If that's the direction, then maybe sure. But I think that's where a third team like Portland comes in. Portland gets Brown, help them there in their climb up the Western Conference standings. They route the young players in the draft picks to Milwaukee, including some of the Bucks' own picks.
Right.
And then that's how Giannis lands in Boston. That's the way it would go down. Now, here's what I'll say about all this. When the Celtics have made big trades in the past, they've generally done it quietly, in silence. They kind of come out of nowhere. I go back to when they acquired Malcolm Brogdon. Didn't have not a word about it till it was done. Same thing with Derek White. Same thing when they got Kristaps Porzingis. The Drew Holiday trade was a little different because that we all knew kind of where that was headed when he got moved. But any other deal, they've been in silence. So I think it's probably more informed speculation than pure reporting,
right?
Is how I kind of term it. Necessarily, there, I think the Miami stuff is probably a little more real, but at this point, who knows, right? I think Milwaukee they kind of set a self-imposed deadline of a couple weeks from now. So let's just keep working until we go and see, where we can get to before we get to last best offers.
The part about this, you talk about Boston being quiet. The Bucks have been known to be quiet too. Nobody saw the Lillard deal coming. Nobody saw the Miles Turner deal coming. Nobody saw a stretch and waving Damian Lillard. Like John Horst has done a good job. In fact, if you go back to that Lillard trade, story goes, John Horst pretty much swore Joe Cronin to secrecy. This gets out, we're out. We're not doing this deal. So you got to keep your mouth shut until we're ready to move on this, and then we'll move it. So now you're talking about Cronin, who was sworn to secrecy and kept his mouth shut. Horst, who doesn't want this out in public. And then we're talking about Brad Stevens in Boston, who also doesn't want their business out in public. So it seems kind of like the perfect marriage if these three guys are going to get together and try and pull this off and, trying to keep it as quiet as possible. The thing about it, from my perspective, is, are they trading Jaylen Brown or potentially trading Jaylen Brown because it simply has run its course with him and Tatum, because there's friction, because Brown wants to be a true one and can't be with Tatum? Like, what are the reasons of why they would do this?
Yeah, I think from the Celtics side, you go back to two different things. One is Brad Stevens' end of season press conference was very clear. that they need to play differently. They cannot just be the team that launches 63 pointers a game, and that's where it is. And he multiple times in that press conference, not just in one answer, but across several answers, said versions of, we need to get more dunks, layups, and free throws. We need to be better at putting pressure on the rim. Well, even in this slightly lessened version due to injuries and age, Giannis Antetokounmpo, nobody's better than him at doing that in the entire NBA. So I think where you kind of, all right, we kind of start connecting the dots a little bit. The other part is Giannis kind of out of nowhere heaped all this praise on Joe Mazzulla towards the end of the regular season.
Did.
Everybody's like, what is this all about? So that, added into it as well. So I think you kind of put those things together. Then it comes, all right, how do we get them? If this is what we're going to do, how do we get there? We already covered why it would be Jaylen Brown. But I think the other part is, why would it be time for Brown? I think Brad Stevens knows, all right, if we keep Brown and Tatum together, we're probably going to look pretty similar to what we've looked like in the past. It's only so much pressure on the rim, a lot of jump shots. This is where we'll be. I think he knows that group's had, roughly a decade together to kind of get things done. Yes, they did win a title. I don't think it would be an easy, let's trade Jaylen Brown decision. I don't think a lot enters into it of, Jaylen Brown's outspoken. He's been outspoken for years. The team knows that. They're not worried about that. I don't think there's any friction between him and Tatum. I think that's all been invented every time the guys tell everybody we don't have a problem with each other, including that Jason Tatum leaves his kids with Jaylen Brown sometimes. So they're clearly fine. I think it would be a basketball move where it is, all right, this is the way to get Giannis. If you want one of the best players in the league, you're going to have to give up a lot of stuff to get him, and Jaylen Brown's a pretty good piece to send out in trade.
Let's talk a little bit about other teams outside of these two that we talked about, because there's a lot of people out there, and everybody on social media right now has a Giannis proposal. They're running through a trade machine and saying legal trade, right? And telling everybody. How likely is it that the Hawks get involved in one way or another? I saw one today where Jaylen Brown ends up going to the Hawks. Giannis ends up going to Boston. And then, you get the Bucks getting a lot of the young assets from Atlanta, and then a couple of, first round picks from Boston, essentially, at the end of the day. What do you think of the Hawks?
Yeah, I think that's certainly possible. Jaylen Brown's from Atlanta. He has, without directly saying it, basically said, hey, if I'm not playing for the Celtics, I wouldn't mind playing for the hometown team. At times, there's been different things linking him to the Hawks. I think Atlanta can offer an interesting package of young picks as well as young players, as well as draft picks. So that, especially draft picks in this draft, if the Bucks really are, get another pick. Yeah, they have the 8 and 23 picks. So could do that. And then Boston kind of pays the future price with future picks. You got a guy like Zachary Risachet. You have Jonathan Kuminga, big chunk of expiring salary. They can get there relatively easily to start making the math work for how they want to do this. So I think there's a chance. I don't get the sense that's where Atlanta's really trying to go. I've been told they're looking at size to the roster. I don't think they're a Giannis destination themselves, but I do think there's a world where the Hawks would say, hey, wait a minute, rather than pay all this to get Jaylen Brown, let's pay and get Giannis ourselves, and we'll figure it out rather than do it to kind of help the Celtics.
Talking with our guy, Keith Smith, NBA contributor for Spot Track. Follow him on X at Keith Smith, NBA. The other team that I think Bucks fans are salivating at, and they are begging and pleading with them to get involved here, and it helped that they lost to Wemby and the Spurs, is Oklahoma City. They've got all the picks. They've got the young players with some bright futures there as well, playing with SGA. They came up pretty much and said that they don't plan on doing anything major this offseason, even though Chet Holmgren did not look so good against Wemby. And we know Wemby has it out personally for Chet Holmgren. Not because I don't think of anything Chet Holmgren did, but just because of that one game where Chet Holmgren got an award and Wemby didn't, or whatever the hell the case was when they were younger. Your thoughts on OKC and how this plays out?
Yeah, I don't think they're getting involved on Giannis either. I mean, like you said, Sam Presti basically told us that. Now, I could write, thousands of columns about times NBA GMs told us they weren't going to do something, then went and did that exact same thing. Yep. So it is what it is there. But I think Sam Presti's overall kind of tone in that press conference was, we're in a game 7 without some key players, and we were right there. Like, why would we change things up? We're We were the defending champions right up until we got knocked out. And, there's no reason to necessarily do anything big. And he had Chet Holmgren's back, and knowing people in that organization the way I do, I think they also believe, hey, even if Chet Holmgren has a Victor Wembanyama problem, there's 28 other teams in the league we got to play too. And he's pretty great against all of them. And there's no guarantee it'll be Wemby every year that we run into. So I think that's more of a, all right, if we get 2-3 years into this becoming a thing and we can't get past them, then you probably look to make the move. But I don't think they're doing anything like that right now.
I'm going to throw another team out there that I have not seen anything connected to. But history says this dude likes taking big swings and likes being ultra aggressive. He's got some ties to the Celtics. It would make sense if Jaylen Brown would maybe go here. They've got bigs already. What about the Jazz?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. It's I think what gets a little mixed there is Danny Ainge isn't heavily involved like that anymore. It's really his son, Austin, who's running it. Now, Austin was a big part of the reason Jaylen Brown got drafted to the Celtics. So he may certainly say, yeah, hey, what we need is more wings on this team. But the Jazz don't seem, feels like they already did their big move, which was get Jaren Jackson Jr. last year.
Yep.
And now it's going to be on, let's retain a couple of our guys. We've got the pieces. Let's go, with the idea of let's see what this group can do, then knowing we can still make trades down the line if we need to. So I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this is the most crazy thing ever if that's how it went down. I just don't think that's going to be the direction it goes.
One more team. This is my own personal dream scenario because I'm doing it for everybody else. I'm also doing it for myself. What about a scenario where Jaylen Brown goes to Chicago and Chicago ends up moving off of that, pick 4 or whatever in this draft, and then they throw whatever crap needs to be thrown to make salaries work, and Giannis goes to Boston.
Yeah, I mean, certainly possible because Chicago projects to have a ton of cap space this summer, so they could kind of absorb Jaylen Brown and go in that direction. Now, it's a whole new front office there, but we've known Bulls ownership has run with a mandate of try to be competitive every year,
yep.
right? They don't necessarily want to bottom out. The new lottery rules say you can't really just go into the year saying, well, we're going to lose every night and it's fine because we're going to get a draft pick out of it. You may not be able to be in that position. So I think the Bulls are in a spot where they may make a move like this, but I think that's probably a little bit too big of a swing for them right now. I would think if it was more of this guy's on an expiring contract, he's only got a couple years left, then maybe they do that. But with Jaylen Brown, that's a pretty big swing. But again, Jaylen Brown just is coming off a season where I think a lot of teams are like, all right, he did kind of carry a Celtics group that nobody thought much of to the number 2 seed. Can he kind of keep things moving in that direction?
Keith Smith, I got another one for you. What do you think about Taylor Jenkins as a head coach with the Bucks getting him? Obviously, with a run in Memphis, he had a young team. He molded them. He got them pulling in the same direction. They were a young, brash, cocky group at one point before they all started getting hurt and couldn't stay on the floor together. What's your take on him coming to Milwaukee now, potentially leading a rebuild, a reload, whatever you want to call it, if they move away from Giannis?
I think he's a really good coach because I think he can do things in a couple different ways. If the Bucks say, you know what, we're going to get back some closer to win now pieces because we're still going to try to be a competitive team, he can certainly do that. He's done that with the Grizzlies over the last few years outside of these injury wrecked seasons. But then I think he's also a coach who, hey, we're going to hand you a really young group and you're going to develop them and figure it out. I think he's a really good coach for that as well. So I think it's rare that you get a coach that can kind of do both sides of it. But I think the Bucks in their specific situation have done a really good job kind of nailing this hire where it is, hey, this guy, whatever direction we take with Giannis, without Giannis, we get a bunch of guys who can play. We go super young. I think he's going to be adaptable. He's not somebody who is, this is what I run. That's it. Get me the players that fit it. I think he adapts what he does to the talent he has on the roster.
How much value does Miles Turner have around the league right now? If they're like, okay, we're moving Giannis, we're going to move Miles Turner too.
Yeah, I think it's pretty neutral. I don't think it's going to be anything where you're going to get any kind of massive return back for him. He didn't have a very good year, and that was tough. When you're coming off that kind of year and you've got a few years of decent sized money left, it's not there. But other teams look at the track record. And one thing I know about NBA teams is they have pretty heavy egos, and they're like, well, we'll get them right. Like we'll get them there. And if teams are thinking that way, then yeah, they may look at it and say, all right, we're going to go there. So I don't think it's any kind of massive return, but I don't think it's anything where it's like, well, the Bucks have to pay to get off his contract or anything like that. And if they had to, then I would move on and say, nope, we're not doing it. We'll rehab him ourselves, and we'll get him back to a place where his trade value is at least neutral.
Another name that's come up, and people are 100% against it here, but if they have to attach a first-round pick, I'm open to it, regardless if Giannis is here or not. What about Ja Morant?
Yeah, that becomes kind of interesting because there's a world where you could see, all right, hey, he's got a history with Taylor Jenkins, bring him in and let's go. Because you're certainly buying low right now. I think Memphis found out at the trade deadline. It is found out only further. There's not going to be any of this kind of Godfather offer for Ja Morant. And I think the Grizzlies are also, but we're not going to pay to get off his contract either. So that could be one where it's, hey, we're going to swap you this money, you swap us the player, everybody gets a change of scenery and we go. Then sure, I have no problem with that, because what you need to do now is you need to take some swings, right? And if it's not going to cost you all that much, why not, right? See what you could get that kind of works. And if you catch lightning in a bottle and it really works out and new fresh start, then great. Now you have your next guy to build around.
Absolutely right. There he is, Keith Smith, NBA contributor for Spot Track. He's so much fun to have on the air. Always appreciate him. Follow him on X at Keith Smith NBA. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You bet you. Take care. There he is, Keith Smith, joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Well, I understand that a lot of people don't want Jaylen Brown. I get it. But I'm just telling you right now, if this is about competing and staying competitive, then Jaylen Brown makes a hell of a lot of sense. Like, he is going to be a guy that can come in here, average 22, 23, 24 points.
The best season of his career.
Yeah. I mean, maybe more
Jason
than
Tatum
that.
on the court.
Correct. Maybe more than, 23, 24. Maybe he can average 25, 26 if he's getting all of those shots. And it's him, and it's Ryan Rollins, and it's Miles Turner, and whatever else then you have left. If Usay comes around and does something, you use your draft pick or picks potentially there in the first round. Again, if they end up with, like, if Atlanta gets involved in that deal and it's now, but see, Atlanta wouldn't be involved. It would have to be a Bucks Celtics deal, I think, in order to make it work. There was one scenario where they have their player exception that would be able to absorb Miles Turner into that deal, to where Giannis and Miles Turner would be going together. Now, that I don't think would make Giannis very happy.
Well, that sounds like the only way anybody's going to trade for Miles Turner based on Keith Smith. He goes, yeah, not very good when you
yeah, but he's saying it would have to be like a neutral deal. Like, I give you a bad contract, you give me Miles Turner, and maybe it works out for one of us.
I guess that's so depressing.
But if you do that deal, then the deal you're getting back needs to be shorter than the deal you're giving up. So if Turner has 3 years left, give me somebody that has 2 years left, and I get out of it a year earlier. Then it's benefit of Bucks, even if the other guy, doesn't work out. So we'll have to wait and see how that all goes. Last night, I think it's fair to say it was the game of the year in the NBA. And crazy theater. Charlie and Tommy were watching it here while the Brewers game was going on. They're getting ready to do the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll discuss that coming up next. Do you think last night sealed the deal for New York to be NBA champions? It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer with you. Hope you are well here on this Thursday.
This one's growing on me.
I love this song. It isn't all just about betting at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I mean, that's a large part of it. You got 2,000 square foot screen, couple of levels to sit on, and all kinds of different comfy seating options. Always can reserve your seats ahead of time by going to Potawatomi.com. But how about the food, baby? At the Potawatomi Sportsbook Kitchen. All-day brunch, steak and eggs, steak and bagel sandwiches, pancakes, and more than that. Plus, the appetizers. Oh, man, Wisconsin style. Lots and lots of cheese involved in all those. They got that gigantic pretzel as well over there. Have you had that before, that pretzel?
I had the Reuben last time I was there, and that was phenomenal.
Yeah, you're a big Reuben guy. Yeah. So I've heard. It's got all things chicken, like wings and tenders, build your own burger, desserts, homemade desserts, and pastries made every day there at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee. That's highlighted by their MVP Turtle Sundae. Tons of cold beverages. 40-some beers on tap. Take advantage of that. Dozen different specialty cocktails. Must be 21 to enter the casino. Bet above the rest. Check them out today. Go to Potawatomi.com. Last night, goodness gracious.
Let's go flat for Jalen Brunson. Allow him to operate at the top. 101.
Brunson gets it. Fires up a three. Shot no good. The tip, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. With 1.2 remaining. Knicks take the lead. OG Anunoby, and it's 107-106. Bedlam here at the Garden. They can't believe it.
Bedlam. It's a great word. I love that word. Bedlam at the Garden.
It was insane. It was so electric.
So that came right before Vaughn playing third. To me, the Vaughn playing third was much bigger deal to me. That's nice that Knucklehead got a tip in at all. But so the Knicks come back from 29 down and win this game, which is great for the New York Knicks. And the question is this: do you think last night sealed the deal for New York? Pretty much, the last nail in the coffin, I guess you could say, for the San Antonio Spurs, now chasing 3-1, goes back to San Antonio now for Game 5. Nikolai Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Couple of different things. Number one, De'Aaron Fox is going to be the scapegoat in this thing because he was awful in the second half. Couple of horrible turnovers in the game. On that play there at the end, when Brunson raises up to take that shot against Wemby, by the way, Fox breaks off of his guy, Anunoby, and comes chasing after Brunson. Now, I don't know if that was hey, we're going to force Brunson to get the ball out of his hand, so we're going to run, two guys at him to make sure of that, or if he did that on his own. Either way, he left Anunoby, and that is why nobody boxed out Anunoby, because he wasn't supposed to be there. He came running untouched down the middle of the lane because the big and Wembanyama was out guarding the guard, right?
Well,
which is a great matchup if you're New York.
Just overall, I thought it was kind of a confusing decision. I know you said De'Aaron Fox, but Mitch Johnson should really probably be the scapegoat for how that game ended.
Yes.
That lineup at the end of the game, you had 2 timeouts left. I still think has the Spurs after that possession. So even before Anunoby got the tip in, you had 2 timeouts. You had 4 guards out there with Wembanyama when Luke Cornett has probably been one of your most valuable players this entire run.
Yep.
Defensively, rebounding wise, like you could have put almost anybody else out there in your lineup with 3 of those guards and had a better opportunity to stop that from happening.
But the other part of this is you're up 29. Like literally act like you're a team in Wisconsin and just take the air out of the ball and use all of your shot clock. Like there's no reason to play this like it's the first quarter of a regular season game, chucking all these threes, running up and down the court. And that to me, the whole idea of how they played was beyond me. Then you got Harper, who has been one of their better players this entire time. He did not attempt a shot in the last 10 minutes of the game, Harper. Not one shot.
I think they made only 8 total shots in the second half of the game in general. And Tommy, I looked up, I believe it was 8 for 39 in the second half. Horrible. After having the most points in the first half of the game.
Yes.
The biggest lead.
It's absolutely horrible. Then I saw this other number that I thought was interesting as well. Wembanyama and Harper on the floor have a plus 10.3 net rating. Wembanyama and Fox on the floor have a negative 1.6 net rating. Again, if you're Mitch Johnson, I get it. His extension starts next year. You traded with him from Sacramento and so forth. It's time, y'all. Like, They're saying they're not trading Chet in Oklahoma City. I don't know how you're not trading Fox in San Antonio.
Where are
this
you going to trade him to?
Well,
Like,
the rumor out there is the Nets. That's the rumor, that it would be the Nets that would be the one would get involved.
That's such like I hate the Nets. That's just a black hole of a team sometimes, man.
Sure, I'm just saying. I don't
It
know.
Just doesn't feel like a winning. Like, that doesn't make sense for a team that should kind of be in the boat of the Bucks in some ways. Just blow it up and try to restart again.
But if you're San Antonio, you're just going to play. You have to let your guys grow together. Harper and Castle and Wembanyama, if those are going to be your guys going forward, and yes, you're going to look stupid because you just got Fox, and then you're going to move Fox again. But that you've got to consider.
You could figure out contracts. Maybe Orlando would be interested. That's a team that I think would be better suited for something like that, like a De'Aaron Fox, like one of these teams that are borderline. There, they have the young pieces. They have some of these players. Like, add a player like that, a veteran like that, kind of like the Spurs did to get to this point, and see what can happen.
We'll see. To answer that question, yeah, it's over. Wembanyama, I was watching him after the game. Wanted to see how the young cat was going to do up at the podium after that gut-wrenching loss. He was pretty good. Some guy said, hey, man, they played you quite a bit there in the first half. Looked like you were tired and worn down there by the time the game was over. Wembanyama agreed with him.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, you're probably right. And then they asked him about rotation patterns. I was like, that's not my deal. I'm not getting into rotation patterns of how coach was subbing guys in, and I'll go talk to coach about that. Coming up at the top of the next hour, let's talk about the Crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Hello. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Happy Andrew Vaughn at third day after yesterday. Got to play a little third base yesterday. Day off today. Brewers and Phillies tomorrow. Do we get more Andrew Vaughn at third base? We should start some type of pool the next time we think Andrew Vaughn will play third base for the Brewers.
I said it last night with Tommy. What if this is just like Bo Melton sighting at cornerback in training camp and then we never see it again? How sad would you be?
This was in a regular game, though.
I know
and
it was.
As Tommy pointed out,
it was
in a
also still just a half inning, though.
A high leverage situation. Like if they tie that game, he's in the rest of the game. Like they go 3 extra innings. He's playing all 3 extra innings. Like he's there. This wasn't Vaughn playing third down 6.
No.
Right? I mean, it was Vaughn in a game where they had a chance to potentially tie with what was coming up in the next inning and obviously couldn't get it done. So, all right, I'm just going to continue to be happy about Andrew Vaughn. You're not going to ruin my day. Don't care what you say. I enjoyed it last night. Still flying high and being happy about it, but there's other stuff we got to get to.
It's time to talk about the Crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, so there's a column by Ken Rosenthal in The Athletic today. And look at this. We got some people over in the Dugout YouTube chat. You seeing this? People talking about Vaughn? I'm going to get sidetracked here.
I was thinking they were going to put Vaughn at third. And then Boomhawk says, been waiting for it to happen.
Ah, you and me both. Yeah, buddy. Boomhawk. I like it.
That's a cool nickname.
Yeah, like if you were like a jet fighter, Boomhawk. Instead of like Maverick or Iceman, it's Boomhawk. Yeah, I'm all right with that. I like it. All right, so anyways, there's a column by Ken Rosenthal in The Athletic. And the title of the column is Why It Would Behoove the Cubs to Explore the Market for Seiya Suzuki. And then he's got, this is his national column, so then he's got other stuff in it as well. Now, it says the Cubs drew trade interest in Suzuki last offseason in part because so few right-handed hitters were available. They also drew interest in second baseman Nico Horner, but awarded him a 6-year, $141 million extension rather than moving him. I've got some notes on Horner momentarily. The Horner deal left the Cubs with 5 prominent players on expiring contracts this coming year, okay? Suzuki, left fielder Ian Happ, and starting pitchers Shota Imanaga, Jamison Taillon, and Matthew Boyd, who just suffered a setback in his injury rehab. The Cubs won't keep all of them in open market bidding. They probably don't want to keep all of them. Now, the payroll commitment for the Cubs for 27 is only $111 million. So that's after signing Horner, having Pete Crow Armstrong, and Alex Bregman. With those guys all under contract, their payroll still is only at 111. But, I mean, those are significant free agents this offseason that if they don't replace, they're going to have problems, even though they're not that good right now. Suzuki turns 32 in August, to give you some background on Suzuki and his age. So I thought it would be fun to talk about the Chicago Cubs and what happens if this actually continues for the Chicago Cubs going forward, because they are now all the way down to 500. And our guy, David Haw, who we have on all the time from The Score in Chicago, this morning on his show, got into a conversation, Molly and Haw, and one of his producers, Dustin Rhodes, been around a long time, got into a conversation with him as well. This made me laugh so hard that I took a screenshot of the tweet, sent it to David Haw, and simply put, amazing. And he's like, just being honest, LOL. I say, dude, it's a long season. Like, just, I understand people overreact. David Haw is like downright depressed. Listen to this.
We celebrate the White Sox rapport, camaraderie, and chemistry in the clubhouse and the dugout. We can't just sit here and pretend like it doesn't matter with the Cubs. We can't have it count on one side of town and ignore it on the other. The Cubs are dead. I don't know what they do and how to revive it. But at some point in time, you do hold the manager responsible for the collective mentality of a sports team.
This is awesome.
And that's on Craig Counsell. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's just the way it is in pro sports.
Get the trader.
Well, David, if you feel the
This
way
is
you
Dustin
do,
Rhodes.
and I understand why you feel that way, then Craig Counsell might need a couple days off. As we're giving players off, in all seriousness, maybe this has never been done. Maybe it's been done with a graduation party or something like that, or a wedding in this time of year. Baseball's a long season, right?
Give him a wedding.
Give him a weekend back in Milwaukee, back in Wisconsin. Let him have a family reunion somewhere. Instead of going to San Francisco with the team, jump on Air Council because he can afford it. He's handsomely paid. Back to Milwaukee and let him have the series off. Maybe just for one weekend, somebody else needs to push the buttons. Something's got to give. It's not his fault. I mean, it's his fault, but it's not. He can't go up there and swing the bat. What happened to Nico Horner? At one point, I think I suggested to you guys, do you think the Cubs got lucky with the deal they paid Nico Horner, the extension? He's already overperforming the extension they gave him, and you guys gave out the stats about how bad he's been while the Cubs have gone bad at the same time. So maybe Craig Counsell needs to take a couple days away from baseball.
Oh, that's so good. Score in Chicago. Okay, so let me give you some numbers to back up what they're talking about. They were 27-12 on May 8th after the Cubs on May 8th. This morning, they wake up, they're 500. This is from Jesse Rogers of ESPN. They've gone 7-22 since May 8th. On that day, they were first in baseball in on-base percentage. They were fourth in home runs, seventh in starters ERA. Since then, they are 26th in on-base percentage, 24th in home runs, and 29th in ERA, Charlie.
Just awful.
That's like night and day. Like, you have to try hard be that good to go to be that bad.
What's so frustrating too, like just from like Chicago's perspective a little bit, is Pico Armstrong has been offensively like the best stretch of baseball he's had to start the season. It's like, 'cause he was awful then.
Yep.
Of course, it has to be when the rest of the team is just nowhere to be seen. It's crazy. Like, I don't know how that happened.
He wasn't hitting the ball well. You might have four.
Well, he's not playing defense all that well lately, so it really truly is just as bad.
Now, Nico Horner. Let's talk about Nico Horner for a second. I know this is a Brewers segment, but I'm going to enjoy like making fun of Cubs. Nico Horner, his first 33 games of the year was hitting 301, 375 on base, and a 466 slugging percentage for an 841 OPS, 4 homers, 26 RBIs, 289 batting average with runners in scoring position. That was the first 33. His last 33, he is hitting 192 with a 284 on base. His slug is 223. No homers, 7 RBIs. He is hitting 176 with runners in scoring position. And you paid that dude a lot of money to go be that guy. Pay him a lot of money to go be that guy. Again, 6 years, 141 was the extension that they gave Nico Horner. Now, again, as I texted with David Hall this morning, it's a long season. It's a long season. They could very well get hot again and climb right back up and be in first place by August 1st. Who knows how this is going to play out? But this piece by Rosenthal, he lays out and says, hey, y'all, like, we're talking about buyers and sellers and what the Brewers are going to do and all that, but if the Cubs don't figure this out sooner rather than later, like everybody was on the Reds bandwagon, they're dead. I mean, they appear really dead in the water right now. Doesn't really matter to me who's coming back or who's not coming back.
Pirates don't look for real.
Pirates,
right now.
no, they're not either.
Like we thought. Yeah.
Correct. The Cardinals might have some staying power. They're staying around longer than I thought.
Even then, they still look like that pitching is going to give out at some point unless they make a trade or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think they will because they're trying to rebuild that farm system. But the question that we have for you is this. Real nice and easy. Of the impending free agents that are out there for the Cubs, if they're out of it, would you explore trading for any of them? Imanaga, Happ, Tyon. Who was the other one that I said? I have it right here.
Seiya Suzuki.
Oh, Matthew Boyd and Seiya Suzuki. Would you trade for any of them if you are the Milwaukee Brewers? Now, it's twofold here. It's twofold. Tyon has not been great, and he's hurt. Now, again, this won't be till August 3rd as we get closer. But Tyon, Boyd just got a setback in his injury return. So both of those guys will have had injuries earlier in the year if you move for them at some point here before August 3rd, right? Imanaga, he's home run derby for you. So you're taking away a guy that you just carve up and eat alive, right? So do you really want to do that? Or do you think, or Chris Hook thinks, he knows how to fix this cat to go be that Cy Young guy like everybody thinks he can be, right?
Maybe.
If Chris Hook goes, I got the secret sauce, Matt Arnold. I got the secret sauce. That dude's going to be a stud. Just give me him. I'll have him ready to roll by the time we get to the playoffs. And then it's Imanaga, it's Mizorowski, and it's Harrison as your top three going into the playoffs. Suzuki, now that is Suzuki or Garrett Mitchell, Suzuki or Sal Frelick. Right? That is your debate there. We talked about in the first hour how bad their numbers are compared to baseball at the right field position. Is that a guy that you go and rent, who is a vet to a certain degree, doesn't really know about winning in the playoffs necessarily, but is a vet and it's going to be 32. Is that a guy you would go get? Or maybe you're like, screw that. I'm not giving them any of our prospects and then having to play against those said prospects later on. Like, no, not dealing with the Cubs. What say you? Nikolai Lautaka text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials at WI Sports Radio, streaming live on X, YouTube. While you're on YouTube, smash that like button and subscribe. Tommy Wirtz thanks you. And you can also follow us on Instagram Live and streaming at the Fan Facebook Milwaukee page as well. Fan Milwaukee Facebook page. Got 3 likes over there from Facebook. Man, we're growing on Facebook little by little. Big 3, number 3. Tomorrow we'll aim for 6. Right. Charlie, you're caught in between here. Mm-hmm. But this isn't Packers Bears. This is Cubs Brewers. You were pulling for the Brewers last year. So you tell me, does any of this make sense from both sides?
I think Ian Happ is probably the number one option that I think you as a Brewers fan should want to be looking at. He's one of their best defensive players, former Gold Glover a couple times. He's a guy right now who has 15 home runs for the Cubs. He has their highest OPS, got a 2.1 WAR, I believe, right now at this point in the season. Like, he's just been the most consistent. He's done that throughout his career, and right now he's starting on that similar pace that he's been able to be at over the past 3 years where he's been at kind of his peak. Seiya Suzuki is my favorite Cubs player. I'd be very happy if he just hopped on over to Milwaukee and joined my other favorite team. That's really fun. He's another guy that just brings a whole lot of power. He's a 25 to 30 home run a year guy. Last year was by far his best season so far in the MLB. I think that could be a really good option. Now with the 2 pitchers or 3 pitchers that we were talking about, Imanaga, Tyone, and Boyd, all 3 of those guys I'm not too excited about if I'm the Milwaukee Brewers. I know we have Chris Hook, but I think Chris Hook really, the value comes in him working with these young pitchers that feel more moldable. Shota Imanaga's 32 years old. He's not going to be moldable. Tyone and Boyd are in their 30s. They're not going to be moldable. None of these guys are going to come in, and especially with the injuries that all 3 of them have faced in the past 3 years, I think be able to grow as players. You're just going to try to milk as much as you can out of them, and right now it looks like they're running out of that.
Okay, so Seiya Suzuki, for instance, if we look at what Seiya Suzuki's numbers are this year for the Chicago Cubs, he's hitting 247, 333 on base, 409 slugging for 742 OPS, 9 homers, 22 RBIs. Last year, played 151 games. That's pretty good. Missed 11 games. Take that. 245, not a great batting average. 326 on base, 478 slugging, but had 32 homers and 103 RBIs. Garrett Mitchell and Sal Frelick are not doing that.
No shot.
It's just not happening. The year before that, he had 21 homers, 73 RBIs, hit 283, 366 on base, 482 slugging. Year before that, 20 homers, 74 RBIs, hit 285, 357 on base, 485 slugging. So he is hit for average. It's been a couple of years ago, but he's hitting 20 or more homers the last 3 years that he's been in the big leagues.
Is 247 even really that bad right now compared to some of these other guys on the Brewers roster?
Frelick, no, exactly. It's not. No.
You got to be excited about some player like that if they were to make a trade for that. And I also think with the embarrassment of riches that you have in your farm system, you have to start making moves. And I get it's the Cubs. You don't want to trade with a rival, all this other stuff.
Right.
But it's Matt Arnold and this farm system and this scouting department. don't you guys know your players? Don't you know the ones that you can probably sell a little high on and kind of pick and choose which ones, and maybe work with Craig Counsell and say, hey, we'll give you a discount, kind of lie to them a little bit and sell those guys that maybe don't have that same ceiling as some of these other players and kind of swindle them a little bit.
Swindle them. For me, I go to Chris Hook and I want to talk about Imanaga. of all the guys that we're talking about here, that's the one I'd like to have a conversation about, because he shows in games where it's like, damn, 6 innings, 1 run, struck out 8. You see it. Now, I know the Brewers have owned him. I get it. Totally understand. But if they're out of it and they're not the issue, and you're not going to have to worry about them necessarily going forward, because they're going to trade Mahayan in a deal, and they're going to trade Suzuki in a deal, and they're going to sell off here. If that's what this is, then yeah, I want to talk to Chris Hook and be like, what do you see? What can you tell me? Like, watch some film. Can you fix him? Yes or no? And if Hook goes, dude, this is why we hit him, because A, B, and C. I don't know if we can fix that by the playoffs. This isn't a long-term deal. This is a rental. It's not like I get an offseason to try and dissect and figure out what I want to do in spring training with them. Like, I don't think I can do it that quick. Okay, well, then I'm out. Then I'm not interested. But if Matt Arnold says, not Matt Arnold, but Chris Hook tells Matt Arnold, yeah, I know what it is. It's this. Watch. He does this. If we fix that, he's a rock star. Works for me. Let's go. And then, you go try and figure out that deal. Normally, I would never, ever, ever trade with the Chicago Cubs and to let them have the opportunity to have somebody come back and bite us in the behind. So I would probably operate scared in that moment. That's why I'm not a general manager of a Major League Baseball team. Fearful that this could absolutely kill me if Imanaga doesn't get fixed, and then we lose, and then they get Lara or somebody, and he just goes off and is a mainstay for the Cubs for 10 years. That would be really, really painful. So there's a part of me that would operate.
Would it be that painful, though, if that player that comes back to the Brewers hits 25 homers or pitches for 10 starts and is phenomenal in those 10 starts, and they win a World Series, and you have still Jesus Madej and Cooper Pratt and all these other players coming?
No, if they do well, then no, right? But I'm just saying, if Imanaga blows up and we can't get him fixed, and then you end up with
also, even in that situation, you still have Jesus Madej that you can be excited about on your side of things. You got enough.
Got a ton. Steve in Germantown using the Nicolay Law Talking text line. Remember when Nico Horner got the extension and everyone said he's the best second baseman in the division, possibly in baseball? Whoops. Terang, baby, from the 414. JB, the 920, regarding the audio from David Haas, said, this is absolutely fantastic audio, and then put a big heart emoji in the text. It was. I laughed when I heard it this morning. I said, oh, yeah, we're playing this on the radio today. There is no question. I'm telling you, if you want to be highly entertained, just go on the Scores Twitter account or X account the day after a Cubs loss. Just go on there and listen to them. They are fit to be tied right now as far as how bad it is. I mean, they lost to the Rockies on a walk-off last night.
Yeah, it's been pretty disgusting.
And now they got to go to San Francisco and play the Giants,
who have been one of the hottest offensive teams in baseball. Yeah,
you're welcome. That was thanks to the Brewers.
Exactly.
That's when they got hot. And they stayed hot against Chicago. And then whoever they're playing this series, they're putting up a ton of runs on too. So, yeah, Giants are going little by little. They're picking it up offensively. All right, let's take a quick time. I'll come back on the other side. Talking a little bit more about some of the Giannis trade proposals. There is one out there, and I know JB in the 920 is not going to be happy with me because he bashed the Mason Crosby show. So there is one out there that was put out there by just a random Bucks fan. And I was like, And then I scrolled down, and then there was another one put out by a different Bucks fan. That one got my attention, and that's the one I want to talk about, because literally at this point, I'm just going to tell you, everybody's guessing. And nobody knows. Nobody has any idea. Everybody is guessing. Maybe not the Miami part of it. That one seems to be pretty locked in, as that's what it is according to everybody. But outside of that, everybody is guessing on what all these teams could potentially throw to get different guys to make it work. And when we had Keith Smith on earlier, I was asking about the Atlanta interest and how that works. And he seems to think that could very well be a thing for the Atlanta Hawks, especially for Jaylen Brown, who's from Atlanta and may want to go back and play at home. So this may be a possibility where it's Milwaukee, Boston, and Atlanta. We'll get to that straight ahead. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. If you've been hurt in an accident, there is only one place to go. That is to my friends, Habish, and Ratier. National reputation, hometown service. 13 locations across the beautiful state of Wisconsin. If you're listening to us on WNFL in Green Bay, 99.7 FM, man, they are there. Yes, they are. Appleton, yep, they're there. Wausau, the game in Wausau, 93.9, they're right there in your backyard. They'll help you. If you're hurt in an accident, you're scared, your car's totaled, you're lying in a hospital bed, or you're at a doctor's office because you got hurt in the accident, or whatever the case is, and you're freaking out. Trust me, that's a thing. Been through it. You're going to want to go somewhere where you can trust them, not somewhere where they look through you walk away going, yeah, I'm not quite sure this guy cares one way or the other, whether or not I get paid or not. You don't want that. National reputation comes from winning a lot of cases. Safety laws have been changed in the state of Wisconsin because of cases they've won, which is great. But at the end of the day, it's about you. That's where the hometown service comes in, right? They treat you like a family member, like a friend. They're very approachable. Bedside manner, they would say, if like you were talking about a doctor or a nurse. That is what they are. That's why you go to them, because you know you can trust them and you know they're going to do well for you. Maybe you're listening to us on 94.9 The Fan in Madison. HD2, 94.9 HD2 in Madison. They got an office in Madison too. Check them out today. Go to habish.com. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky, Pfeiffer, Charlie Houston producing the show. Wisconsin Sports wrap up with our guy Tommy Wirtz. The big old hunk of love comes up from 5 until 6 o'clock today. Give you the best of what happened on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network today. Brewers back at it and at home against the Philadelphia Phillies. Mizorowski on the mound tomorrow. Sanchez versus Harrison on Sunday. Should be a really, really good series, really fun series. I still worry about hangover from being in Colorado and Vegas and then coming back and playing that first game. Normally, that first game back off of a road trip normally is a letdown for the home team. Normally, that's how this plays.
Normally, but also this is a game where you're playing the second hottest team in baseball right behind yourself. You got to go out there, and I think you got to show out and have a really big game if you're Jacob Mizorowski in this first one. And I think you got to go out in the next game when Christopher Sanchez pitches against the Brewers and show him who's boss. And you got to prove a lot in this series, which is weird to say because you were the best team in baseball last year, but this is what people want. This is what people are looking for in the season. If you want to be the Dodgers type of team, you got to start beating these guys in the regular season pretty handedly too.
The nice thing is, and this has been pointed out by many national writers, the Brewers have never struggled against good teams.
No.
Overall. At the end of the year, they always seem to have good records against good teams. That normally has always been a positive with the Milwaukee Brewers. Last year, they swept the Dodgers during the season and then lost in the playoffs to them. So not too concerned about whether they win or lose the series, but I would like to see us start giving up less home runs over the next 3 days than what they did in Oakland. Like, do not have Mizorowski go out there and give up 4 home runs. Harrison go out there on Sunday and give up 4 home runs, because then there is going to be legitimate reason to be concerned that something is amiss with this pitching staff. They go out there and they get right back to, I mean, Mizorowski hasn't had a bad game, but they get out there and Harrison looks like Harrison again, and that's just a blip on the radar. Everybody goes, okay, good. We're back to normal now. Never have to go back play in Las Vegas again in that dumb minor league park, and let's just move on, right? I think that's what you're hoping for. I said we were going to talk about some of the Giannis stuff that's out there before we get to Charlie's Sounds of the Day in a few minutes. So understand, this is just a listener, a fan, follows me on X, whole deal. Eric Nolte is the guy's name. And he posted this on X. And I want to see what y'all think about it. Yes, Giannis goes. But the way that he maneuvers this allows you, the Bucks, to compete. And legitimately compete in the East. Maybe not to win a title, but at least compete to be at least over 500 and have that opportunity. I'm just curious whether or not you like it, dislike it, where you're kind of at. The Celtics get Giannis and Bobby Portis. Okay? The Nets, not the Hawks, the Nets get Kyle Kuzma, Boston's pick in 2033, and the Bucks number 10 pick in the first round this year. Bye-bye, lottery pick. Are you freaking out yet? So let me see if I got this right, Sparky. You just traded away number 10 in the first round. You traded away Giannis, Portis, and Kuzma. So in one deal, you traded away 2 expiring contracts that could be used in other deals. You traded away our lottery pick and the best player in franchise history. Sparky, you better have something really, 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 really good coming back to justify all this nonsense. All right. Well, my guy, Eric Nolte, not really my guy. I don't know him, but, seems nice. Says the Bucks would then get back Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, who I cannot stand, but he'll be in a Bucks uniform. Peyton Pritchard, Michael Porter Jr. comes back in the Nets part of this. They get back Boston's pick this year, which is 27, and a first-round pick from Boston in 2028. So Brown, Pritchard, Porter Jr., 27 in the first round this year, and Boston's first-round pick in 28. What say you to that? Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Dugout YouTube chat always open for you as well at WI Sports Radio, X, Instagram Live, YouTube. Like and subscribe there if you could. That would be wonderful. Also, you can stream us on the Fan Milwaukee Facebook page. Of all the stuff I've seen that's out there, I'm okay with this one. I'm not okay with a lot of them that I've seen, but this one I'm okay with. This one, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Now, first thing is I don't care about 10 in the first round because I don't think there's a superstar at 10. Now, if like Peterson falls for some damn reason, okay, maybe you still have a potential superstar there with Peterson, right? If Acuff falls or something, sure. Odds are none of those dudes are falling at 10, right? So I'm not heartbroken over trading 10. That's not a deal breaker for me. Getting rid of Kuzma, Portis, and Giannis. Well, Kuzma and Portis are going to be gone anyhow after this year, even if you don't trade them because they're on the last year of their deals. They have to be trade chips this offseason for the Bucks, whether it's in this deal or separate deals. And Giannis, if you don't want to be here, then to heck with it. Then do what you got to do. But Brown, Pritchard, and Porter, I mean, tell me what I'm missing here. Because now all of a sudden it's Rollins and Pritchard, Brown, Porter, and Turner. That's your starting five. That's a heck of a lot better than what they were running out there last year. A lot better. And then your bench, you still got Usay on the bench. You still got KPJ on the bench behind Ryan Rollins. You got AJ Green on the bench or starting and Pritchard off the bench, whatever, pick with whatever those two are. I don't know, man. And then whatever you pick there at the end of round one, if that player is playable, who knows? But that to me, that's not horrible. Eric Nolte puts this out there. It would be Pritchard and KPJ would be the points. The shooting guards or the shooting guards, Rollins and AJ Green, Brown and Oos, MPJ and Nance, and then Turner and Sims at center.
No.
That's at least, that right there to me is at least, what, 42, 43 wins, somewhere in that area, just over 500. And in the East, that could be a 6.
I guess.
And then if you're a 6, you're not in the play-in tournament, and you get a series. And it's not against the 1, and it's not against the 2. So now you're playing the 3. Crazier things have happened than a 6 beating a 3.
You're just the Bulls. Like, that's what you become.
But that's what but that's it, though. They want to be competitive. They don't want to bottom out.
But if you're going to do that, if you want to, like, I feel like you got to do
a legitimate all-star in Jaylen Brown.
You got to do like some kind of full overhaul if you want that type of continued success. Like, it can't just be one move like that, and then you're still rocking with all these other same players that are on this roster. Like, that bothers me. I don't want Miles Turner on this roster anymore. Trade him. He needs to be traded. Whatever his value is, you got to find something else. And like we were talking about with Keith Smith, I kind of thought it was funny before, but now you really like try somebody else who has a big contract in the league and just see what happens. Like keep trying all these different players, just readjust this roster and see what happens. If you're going to do that, like if that's the route you're going to go, but otherwise trading your pick this year for 2 picks from the Celtics, one that's not even good this season and one that won't be good next season because they're going to be a good team next year.
No,
too.
that other pick wasn't that other pick in 28? Yeah, 28. So that's 2 years.
Still. They're still going to be a good team then too. Like they have Jason Tatum and Giannis. They're probably going to re-sign Giannis.
If Giannis is healthy.
Yeah, they're still going to be good. Like they're going to figure it out. Like that their window is not within this next year that they're going to be bad. Mm-hmm. They're better than that. So this team is going to be good. Like that just doesn't feel like the value that you need right now. If you're going to go and change a lot of this roster, bring in more picks in this draft. Don't trade 1 pick for another pick. Get 3 more picks. Find ways to get as much value out of this year's draft to adjust the roster that way and give you a chance that way instead.
I hear you. I understand your viewpoint. I'm not saying it's wrong or crazy or anything like that. It feels like to me, and I haven't talked to anybody over there, it feels like to me, from what you read, what you hear, is that they do not want to bottom out. They do not want to be based around draft picks. They want to be able to trade Giannis and still be right in the playoffs next year without having to bottom out for 2 or 3 years like Oklahoma City did and trying to rebuild and get back into this. It doesn't sound like they have any appetite for that whatsoever. So if that's the case, then Jaylen Brown being here gives you a true number 1 scorer. If Rollins can give you 17 to 20 a night, and if Turner can be Turner for God's sakes, because he was awful last year. But again, that's part of it, right? And then you have Kevin Porter Jr., who has shown you another guy that's shown you flashes of potentially being good.
But can he stay healthy? Can he play defense at a consistent rate? Like, can he do the other things that can consider him to be that consistent player in this rotation all the times, which I just don't think he is right now at this point, especially what we saw last season.
And he's got a nice size contract. All right, let's take your calls on this. Would you make that deal? Nikolai Law talking text line 414-677-1250. Wisconsin Sports Daily. Sparky with you. Trell, north side of Milwaukee. You are next. What's up, Trell?
Sparky, how many Diet Mountain Dews did you have today so far?
I don't drink Diet Mountain Dew. I hate Diet Mountain Dew. That's disgusting. I'm drinking right now.
He was offended.
Right. I absolutely hate it. That's the worst soda ever made by man. I have grape Propel water that I am currently drinking.
Oh, are you on the healthy fix right now?
No, not at all. No, definitely not. I've had a couple of sodas prior to that, but Charlie has convinced me that
I thought it was Diet Mountain Dew. What is it? Regular Mountain Dew?
No, sugar-free Pepsi. The black labeled Pepsi one. Yeah.
Okay. No, absolutely not. And I don't believe that they want to be a middle of the road team. I know you might believe that. I believe Taylor Jenkins was brought here for them to find some young talent that they can build around, and for him to be able to take them from building an identity and becoming a contender.
Go back and listen to Jim Ozarski when he did his hour. He pretty much said that they want to be a playoff team consistently going forward.
Yeah, well, I don't know if
it feels like it's going to go the Herb Cole route.
Nah, I don't believe that. And then on top of that, haven't we got enough of wanting guys to be here who don't want to be here? Jaylen Brown would be another Steven Jackson, another Damian Lillard, another Richard Jefferson, guys we got that did not want to be here.
Fair
so
point.
Why even go through a situation like that for? I would not want that. And same thing with Michael Porter Jr. He cried about being traded from Denver. So you think he's not going to cry about getting traded to Milwaukee? No, I don't want any of those guys. Give me some draft picks. If John Horst cannot evaluate talent from the draft perspective side, get me a GM in that can. Hire somebody from Oklahoma City or somebody that can evaluate young talent and build that roster up like Taylor Jenkins. I want to see him be able to do what he did in Memphis, give him the requisite tools, and let him do the same thing here. I think it can be done. That's where I'm at.
All right, Trell, thanks for the call. I don't know about the horse and draft thing. Like I said, he really hasn't had lottery picks per se. When he had something close to one, he took DiVincenzo, and then people argued that he let him walk too early. Well, maybe, but DiVincenzo, I mean, there's nothing special about DiVincenzo. So I don't know. We'll see what he does in the lottery. And again, this is, like I said, this is a listener coming up with this. I think that roster gets 500, a little bit better, right? I don't think that roster wins 55 games or anything like that. But that roster, if healthy, with Taylor Jenkins coaching it, can be pretty decent. Now, having said that, to what Trell just said, I can't argue against what he said. He's right, which is, are you sure you really want to go down this road that Jaylen Brown may not want to be here? Michael Porter Jr. may not want to be here. Who knows about Pritchard, right? If they don't want to be here and they're just going to be in a funk and have their head down and be angry that they're living in Milwaukee or whatever, do you really want to go through that whole process? Now, that is something that I would love to know. How much of that conversation happens in a front office in any sport about, all right, man, we're going to trade for this star or this superstar, but he doesn't want to be here. Do we still trade for him? I mean, that's what's going on in Portland right now, because Portland is pretty much telling Giannis, I don't care if you sign the extension or not. We just want to rent you for a year. And Damian Lillard, I'm sure, is selling Cronin that, hey, man, I'll show him why he should stay here in Portland. I'll have him in school with my kids, and I'll show him why Portland is great and why he needs to stay here. He tried to sell me on Milwaukee, and we both got hurt. It didn't work out. Now it's my turn to sell him on Portland. I'll sell him. He'll sign it by the time we're done next year. Or sign a new deal with us by the time we're done. Maybe that's the plan, that we're going to get him here. He won't sign in October, fine, but we think we can get him back once we get to the summertime. So they're going to be aggressive regardless if Giannis wants to go or not. Can Milwaukee be have that same aggressive nature to go get one of their guys and bank that player will then, essentially fall in love with the town?
I don't think that's something that every front office is thinking about, but I think some front offices do go in and do value the feelings of their players, especially if they have a team or a culture where they do try to keep people around. Like, I think the Packers value that. They value the outside appearance of some of these players and what they bring to their locker room. The Bucks, run by Jimmy Haslam, who went and traded for Deshaun Watson on his Cleveland Browns team over there, I don't think gives a crap about any of that. I think if he thinks he can go and get a good player to come to his team, he's going to go and get a good player to come to his team. And I'm going to assume he's going to treat the Milwaukee Bucks in a similar fashion now that he's starting to kind of take on more control, at least more outward-facing control.
So I got some tweets coming in on this because I quote tweeted that and said earlier we're going to talk about this at 3:20. Dr. J says this is a sufficient package, but don't love not having a first, for the next few years or whatever after this year. Fine. Fair enough. Got another one from JW who says, give a rebuild trade attention, not this. Listen, to be clear, if they want to attempt to go the Thunder route and rebuild with a bunch of draft picks and get a bunch of expiring contracts back and blow this thing up and gamble that they can draft their way into contention in the next 3 years, I'll support that. I'm fine with that. You better be right. You better not only hit on one guy in the next 3 years if you end up with all these draft picks. So, but I'm fine with that. If that's the route you want to go. What I'm concerned about is they're going to try and eat their cake and have it too. They're going to try and play this thing down the middle. And you know what deal that is? That's the Miami deal. The Miami deal is, look, we get a handful of picks, we get a bunch of marginal players, and we'll sell them on where's upside and see what happens. That's why I think that Miami deal right now, if you're trying to play both sides of it, that's playing both sides of it and not going in one direction completely.
And you have a lot of options there. If you wanted to keep Tyler Hero, you could keep Tyler Hero.
He's expiring.
You can trade him if you wanted to trade him. Like, you have options there. Khalil Ware, he's going to have other trade value after that. If you wanted to keep him, he could be really good. A lot of people are really high on him. If you wanted to trade him, other teams really want him, are going to be really high on him. You have a lot of flexibility with that trade.
No doubt about it. Hey, Wendy's. Buddy, Wendy's. Have you tried the new cookie dough Frosty Fusion? We talk about Frosty Fusions all the time, and they're really, really good. But if you are a cookie dough guy, I mean, you go in the ice cream store of a grocery store, how many different brands have cookie dough ice cream? Every brand.
Every single one. Yeah.
Every single brand. So clearly a bunch of people love cookie dough ice cream, which means you are going to love the cookie dough Frosty Fusion. It's the ultimate feel-good snack. Everything from the cookie dough to the brownie batter sauce was made for max happiness. Go grab a new cookie dough Frosty Fusion today. Lots and lots and lots and lots of chunks of the cookie dough. I've had it. It's filled with cookie dough pieces. Get that dopamine flowing. Get it? Dopamine. Like cookie dough. If you didn't get it, I didn't get the first time either. I try and help everybody that didn't understand it the first time either. It's okay, though. I'll take a quick time out and come back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Another song that never heard. Love Elvis. Never heard Rubberneckin'. And it's a good song.
I feel like we should have a theme for our next round of them. Like your favorite opening guitar riffs or something.
Yeah. Or put like a time frame on it or a genre
your
or
favorite
something.
Summer song. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? The next one's coming up at the end of June, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So a couple of weeks, we'll have another one where you can vote on, and we'll change up the bumper music again here on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Charlie Sounds of the Day is normally right here, but as usual, we're late as always, so we'll move that bad boy to 4:20. Coming up at the top of the next hour, green and gold update time. And Packers minicamp just continues to roll on. So we'll go through some of what happened at Packers minicamp earlier today. Can I just briefly touch one last time on the NBA Finals?
Sure.
I didn't think I really cared all that much about the finals going in. And I'm so anti-Knicks now that doesn't even matter. Like I literally last night, Tommy was like, "Oh, what a game today!"
Yeah, why are you so anti-Knicks?
I was like, "Screw the Knicks, dude. Their fans are a bunch of idiots."
Yeah.
Like I have absolutely no use for those Knicks fans. They were throwing crap at Wemby getting off the bus last night.
At his head, yeah.
Yeah, what are we doing, man? And then Wemby's like sitting across the street or whatever, or on a bench or whatever, like the day before, and they're screaming and yelling at him. Dude, he ain't talking to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
All that now. I'm sorry. I don't
get over it.
I hate that stuff. That drives me nuts. I got nothing. I got no beef with Brunson or those guys. Like
they're a fun team. Like they really are fun to watch, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with those guys. Who was the Knicks player that was walking the streets last night after the game with the crowd?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, he walked out there with his jersey on, right out into the streets, and was walking around, and it was mass hysteria. Like once they realized it was actually the dude in the street walking around, I don't know if I saved it or not. Once they realized who it was, they're like, "Oh my God, he's walking around with all of us right now." And I don't know if I saved it.
I don't see anybody. Like,
yeah, there was somebody out there with his Knicks jersey on, walking around.
Lamar Jackson was out there with people.
It's former Nick, Iman Shumpert.
Oh, yeah, Lamar Jackson was out with people just in a crowd.
Yeah, so it's Iman Shumpert with his Knicks Iman Shumpert jersey on, walking through the crowd dressed in his own jersey, and people are like mobbing him and going crazy. That's the type of stuff. That stuff I don't mind, right? That'd be like Brandon Jennings. Same thing. Be the same type of deal. Bucks fans would go nuts, mob him same way if the Bucks fans were in the streets, but yeah, not a fan. And then we
were fun in Milwaukee, man. Everybody was happy.
All you fake celebrities that act like you give a damn about the Knicks now showing up. Get out of here, man.
You're talking about Taylor Swift?
She's a lot more than that.
Because Mitch was defending her.
Taylor Swift for sure is one of them. But regardless of all that, did you see the Knicks broadcasters got caught?
Oh, no.
Telling Taylor Swift to get out of here type deal? You're not a Knicks fan? Yeah, whole big thing. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Green and Gold update next.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time again. Welcome in as we broadcast live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. People still tweeting at me about the Amon Shumpert thing, walking around in the streets, the video that came out. And I was looking in the break, and Corey tweets at me, says, Sparky, PJ Tucker was partying with fans after the parade. The day after the parade, he was at Stenny's in Milwaukee just hanging out. Love hearing stories like that from Corey on X. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, why not?
I think I only have one story that's comparable to that. And it wasn't a celebration story at all. It was just I guess I got two stories. Kind of happenstance stories where you accidentally walk into a situation. Tim Allen and I, back in the day, had went to Minneapolis to see the Twins play, and ended up staying at the Brewers Hotel on complete accident. We had no idea, right? So we go, I think was it a night? Yeah, it was a night game. It was a Saturday night game, and then they played Sunday afternoon, back when it was the Metrodome. And we ended up running into Bob Wickman and Mike Fetters, two former relievers for the Brewers.
I have no idea who those guys
that's
are.
okay. Both ended up. Fetters was the closer, I think, at that point, and Wickman was the setup guy. And when Fetters left, Wickman became the closer. But they were both sitting at the bar, and Tim had went to the bathroom. And Tim comes out of the bathroom and hears clear across the hotel lobby, across the bar, me yelling at these two guys about their fantasy football takes. And we're just going back and forth on fantasy football, whatever else. He's like, who are you yelling at? And I told him, he's like, holy crap, are you kidding me? I was like, no. And so I introduced them to those two or whatever else. I think Fetter sent a pizza to our room later that night or whatever. So that was kind of cool. And then the other time I had a similar run-in was at the draft, NBA draft. Me and my buddy went to the NBA draft in Minneapolis. It was at Target Center. So we drove there and did that, and the draft got done, and we were going to meet up with his girl and her sister or whatever after. And he's like, dude, I really got to use the restroom. I was like, yeah, me too. So we just try to get into this hotel, and it's one of these hotels where the doors open and it's just a wall of elevators. That's all it was. So we just were, and they have a security, doorman or whatever else. So we kind of just fiddled our way in with a group of people and got into this elevator. The doors open and we're like, oh, it's a big bar lounge floor. Done. There's got to be a bathroom up here. So boom, we get out. We go to the bathroom. We come out and there's Bob Huggins. There's Mateen Cleaves in his socks walking past us. That was Jamal Crawford draft. Stromile Swift was the top pick that year. Prisbilla ended up being the Bucks pick after they traded
Vanilla Gorilla, man.
Yeah, it was Jason Collier. And then they made the trade that night to get Prisbilla, who was booed every time he was on screen at Target Center that night. But yeah, and we ended up sitting up there and chilling out and drinking, and Hubie Brown was sitting by us. And yeah, it was pretty cool. So both were complete mistakes. Happenstances weren't planned. But anytime you could hang out with a pro athlete, I think a lot of people think
even
it's cool.
just seeing them in normal people settings is just cool. It makes you feel oh yeah, they're still one of us.
And people forget about that, right? You treat them like they're robots or fictional characters.
I used to work at a pizza place, and when I was in high school, and Chris Middleton just walks in through the door, and it was 11 o'clock, and I'm tired. I'm the host, so I'm just sitting there looking at my phone. He comes up to the thing. He's like, "Yeah, I got a pickup order for Chris," and I kind of was just like, yeah, I know who you are. So I ran and got it. I was like, can I get a picture with you? And he's like, yeah, sure. Why not?
That's hilarious. Well, there's nobody in there. It's probably 11 o'clock at night.
Exactly. It was just nuts. And he just walks in through the door. And again, it's just this guy's just getting pizza like I would on a Saturday night. I think they had just played that day too. So the game had finished 2 hours before he walks in.
See, and that goes back to what you talk about with Giannis or what Xavier McKinney talked about the other day about playing in Green Bay, where you can operate in a normal fashion around Green Bay. You can operate in a normal fashion, I think, for the most part, around Milwaukee if you play here, where in other places, probably not as much.
Right.
Where you're kind of stuck in wherever you live and you really can't go out.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not one person asking for a picture, one person saying hi. It's 50 people after one person sees you all cramming on you like seagulls almost.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure I've told this story before, and some of you may remember if you listened to us in Milwaukee years ago. We did a topic one day on our afternoon show, and it was if you could switch with another famous person, who would you want to switch with, right? Who would that guy be? And like Derek Jeter was one that was thrown out there, not married, single, all these girls want to be with him, richer than what, like a legend in New York and the Yankees, probably doesn't have to pay for dinner anywhere he goes, like clean, never been in any trouble. Like Jeter was that guy. You remember who I told you my guy was?
I don't remember who you told me your guy was.
The Trader.
Do you still believe in that?
No. But back then it was, and everybody started laughing at me like, Craig Counsell, what in the world? Why would you want to be Craig Counsell for? I said, well, he's got World Series ring, number one. Number two, he's a multimillionaire. He's made millions. And number three, that dude can go anywhere in the country, into a grocery store, nobody's going to talk to him. Mm-hmm. Go to a movie theater, nobody's going to say a word to him. He can literally go anywhere in the country and nobody knows who he is when he walks in, outside of like in southeastern Wisconsin. Even then, I used to go to Whitefish Bay Dominican games. He'd sit by himself in the stands. Nobody would even talk to him. He would just sit there and watch when he was a player, MLB player. So it's like, that's the life. I'm a multimillionaire and I can still live a normal life and I don't got to worry about finances. Like, yeah, I'm in. That sounds great to me. I don't need all the other stuff.
I feel like you could like maybe pick a little better of a player and still have that kind of anonymity. Like you can still like be like a legend. You can be in the MLB Hall of Pretty Good.
Like who?
That account. I don't know. Like I feel like people don't know like Dontrell Willis. Like if they saw Dontrell Willis
he's
just
on
walking
TV,
around,
man.
Yeah, but even still, like it just the random people I don't think are surrounding Dontrell Willis all the time and stuff. And he's like got those high peaks more so, and you could be like tell stories easier. I guess Craig Counsell has his moments. He has the World Series winning hit and all that, but at the same time, it's just like you're Craig Counsell. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, look at him now. Doesn't sound that fun.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be him now, but back then I was like, man, that's
definitely
great.
Not right now.
And literally, he could walk around Vegas and still nobody would know who the hell he is.
He's still making a lot of money right now. Actually,
yeah, he's making $8 million a year.
Never mind, maybe still right now.
Whatever it is, yeah, he's doing just fine. All right, enough about that. Let's get to what we normally get to at 4:00 here.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
Okay. So it's nice because there's actually stuff going on with the Green Bay Packers that we can talk about. So mini camp going on earlier today. Let's go through some of the stuff that came across our X accounts, I guess you could say. 17 guys out today, same guys that were out yesterday, which is, I guess, fine. I guess that's not a big deal. It's training camp that was announced today will start July 29th per Matt LaFleur. So that's fine. Next week for OTAs, rookies only. Everybody else can go home and do what they want to do. My question is, if you're like Xavier McKinney and you live there, do you just come hang out and
you might as well
do whatever?
Right?
Or do you like, yeah, screw that. I'm just going to stay home. I'm not going over there.
I mean, you might as well. You got free training facility right there for you.
Oh,
to
yeah.
use.
You probably still go work out.
Exactly. So you might as well just be around the guys too.
Yeah, I guess so. Some Tyrod Taylor stuff was out there a little bit today. So that was nice, I guess you could say at this point. Some of the other stuff, again, I don't know how much you get into offense versus defensive lineman. Charlie's already talked about the fact that it's hard for any offensive lineman in shirts and shorts to defend anybody. So again, you continuously see stuff about Jordan Morgan getting beat or whatever the case be like this. Andy Herman, nice run stuff by Carl Brooks working against Jordan Morgan.
Like, what do you mean run stuff in no pads? Like that you can't run stuff. He's not giving you full effort, Jordan Morgan, that is, or anybody to get to that spot. That's crazy.
Chris McClellan, immediate pressure versus Sean Ryan.
You're supposed to say, like, you can't hit him back.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, when you look at these minicamp stuff, how much do you really get into it? Probably not as much with the offense and defensive line kind of at this point. Let's see. Javon Bullard, everywhere, pass breakup in team versus Jaden Reed that deflects up, but Zaire Franklin couldn't get there for the pick. Love to Savion Williams over the middle for a solid game, but would have been a hospital ball in a game with Xavier McKinney waiting for it. to be caught at that point. How about this? Shirts and shorts, and there's a fight that breaks out in minicamp today.
You like to see that, man.
Andy Herman says light scuffle breaks out. I'm not sure what light scuffle means, but light scuffle breaks out. Nothing major, but LaFleur sounds practice and brings everyone in for a little team meeting. I can't tell you. I mean, have we ever seen on Sports Center a fight at an OTA or a mini camp when you're not wearing pads?
Probably. These
what
guys
are you getting all worked up about, man?
It gets hot out if you're playing against guys that you don't really know yet. Let's say it's like probably two young players would be my guess that are going at each other, or a veteran playing with a young player that doesn't like the way he's talking to him or something. I bet somebody swipes at somebody every year at least in one of these camps.
Here's another one. Jonathan Ford with the run stuff in the backfield.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
And then also, like,
just telling you,
who's running the ball in all of these too? That's what I'm curious about.
No idea. Then they run a 2-minute drill, and the scenario is down 27-24, one timeout, own 25. Wiley, the tight end, has been getting a lot of work and continue to get a lot of work on this one. Had a couple of catches. Matthew Golden with a catch as well. So that was good. Watson had a first down catch too. On that drive, Melton with a first down pass. Then Andy Herman says, well, it should have been a first down, but somehow they marked it short. Smack out for the field goal. 35 yards. Missed it.
But they made him go back and do a 51-yarder, and he made that.
I don't care.
You're not excited about that, Sparky?
I don't care. I don't care.
50-yard field goals don't matter if you can't hit 35-yard field goals.
Yeah, I'm not going to get worked up over minicamp. I refuse to let myself get worked up.
Yeah, but kickers, like that feels like something where you shouldn't be having those problems even in minicamp. I don't know, especially if they cut the veteran guy for you.
Yeah, I can't. And then the third stringers come in and practice. We don't care about the third stringers. So that's your minicamp green and gold update for the day. So we got training camp coming up. What, about a month and a half or so? July 29th. It's going to be here like that. I mean, we're only sitting like 3.5 weeks or so away from All-Star break, which is like around July 12th or so. So we're getting dangerously close to that. Summerfest starts next week. Next Thursday, Summerfest starts.
It's going to be fun.
And then you've got that every weekend for like the next 3 or 4 weekends as well.
Before you know it, NFL football starting on your TVs again.
We're going to be out. This show will be out at Summerfest each Thursday and Friday of Summerfest by the Hole in One contest, which X Golf is sponsoring this year. So if you want to come hang out, say hi, feel free. Tommy Wirtz and Tim Allen will be out there for a couple of post-game shows throughout the run of Summerfest. Tommy will be out there for a couple of leadoff shows throughout the run of Summerfest, whether it be a Thursday or Friday or a weekend. So definitely pay attention. Keep it tuned to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. And if you're going down to Summerfest, come over, say hi. We'll have some free shirts I'm sure we'll be giving away throughout the Summerfest run too. So looking forward to that. Coming up next, Charlie's Sounds of the Day. Straight ahead on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Wisconsin Sports Daily, Steve Sparky Fiber with you. I hope y'all are doing well. Don't forget, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network got bigger. Welcome to the city of Madison. You can now listen to The Fan in Madtown on 94.9 HD2. Your favorite local shows each weekday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Plus, Best in Brewers coverage with the leadoff show and the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show. Keep it tuned to 94.9 HD2, The Fan in Madison while you're listening to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Do appreciate you coming on. You joined a great network, right? WNFL in Green Bay, Appleton, the Fox Valley, 99.7 FM. How about 93.9 The Game in Wausau? Duluth, Superior, 710 The Game. We appreciate you listening around the beautiful state of Wisconsin, normally at 3:20 today, right now.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, Charlie, using where to first, my friend?
All right, so first up, we've had this topic in this spot for the past couple of days, so I thought I'd still play the clip for you so you could react to it and the fans can react to it. This is Stephen A. Smith saying that Michael Jordan would never call himself the GOAT.
Michael Jordan would never tell you he's the GOAT. I know Michael Jordan. I speak to him often. I'm telling you, he has never, ever, ever once called himself the greatest. Ever. It has never happened. Kobe Bryant didn't call himself the greatest. Kareem didn't call himself the greatest. Magic didn't call himself the greatest. Bird didn't call himself the greatest. No, that's not true. That's not true. He could say they might have thought it, but they never articulated it to a reporter for print purposes to be disseminated to the masses. It is LeBron James, which brings us to LeBron James. Why would he do that? Because the man is addicted to trying to control the narrative.
Nothing like vendetta. Nothing like a vendetta. These two had a falling out, and now Stephen A. Smith is going to do everything in his power to try and bring them down. This is the thing. I think if you had this conversation about Jordan versus LeBron, and you ask yourself, is there truly a right answer between him and Jordan? That was going to be a topic in this segment, actually, today. And so we're doing Charlie Sounds today. But if you were going to ask that question, I don't think there is. I'll be honest with you. I don't think there really is an answer. Now, our guy, Aaron Morris, who is a producer here, I sent that clip to Aaron the day that it came out, and he just started laughing. He's like, "You really want to do this?" I was like, "Yeah, we're going to do it on the air one day." No, I don't think there is. Again, my world, it's Michael Jordan because I'm old. I watched Michael through his career, and he's the GOAT probably no matter what happens. Wembanyama might have something to say about this before it's over, but right now it's still Michael Jordan. I think Kobe Bryant can be in that conversation. LeBron James can be in that conversation of guys that I saw, right? I didn't see Wilt. I didn't see Bill Russell. I didn't see some of these other folks that played before that, but just of the guys that I saw, Michael is still number one. And I hated Michael Jordan because they always killed the Bucks and they won 6 championships, and screw Michael Jordan and screw the Bulls and all that. In fact, I dislike Michael Jordan far more than I've ever disliked LeBron James in my life. But when you talk about LeBron James, what he's able to do for how long he's been able to do it, with the hype train behind him coming in, Michael did not have that. He came from North Carolina, yes, but he did not have high school games broadcast on TV. He did not have King put into his headrest of his what was he driving, an Escalade or whatever
Something
it was?
like that.
Yeah.
Basketball was like the NBA and basketball was just starting to get
high
into
school
that super
basketball
popular
was
range.
not on TV like it is now. That is all because of LeBron.
It was just starting to grow as
yes.
Yeah.
So from the perspective of kind of what he's brought, how he's kind of changed the NBA landscape, being his size with the power that he's able to play with, but still be able to play with a little bit of finesse, still have the jumper to go along with everything else that he does. It's unbelievable. I mean, just simply unbelievable of what he's been able to do throughout the course of his career. So I can understand LeBron being the guy. I can understand Michael Jordan being the guy. And I'm just telling you, I don't think there is a concrete right or wrong answer in that question.
And it's weird because almost every other professional sport, you don't have these same kind of debates because people recognize that there's different positions, there's different jobs that people are doing in that Tom Brady can be the GOAT, but Jerry Rice can also probably be the GOAT. And that you can look at Reggie White, if you want to say he's the GOAT, he can be the GOAT. And a lot of people won't argue with you on either of those three things. They might have an opinion, but they're not going to argue you as much as people argue about these two right here. And it just feels weird that you can't go out there, and I say this all the time, and just appreciate the greatness that you're seeing from either of these guys when you were watching Michael or when you are watching LeBron now. There's something to just sitting down and being like, I'm witnessing this, and that's so cool.
Yeah, just like you witnessed Giannis. And that's why I kept telling everybody, better go see him, because it's going to be over before you know it. And then you're going to regret not taking your kids or you yourself from going, even though I know it was all expensive and everything that came along with watching it. And now there's a chance maybe he's not here. And now you're going to watch him in another uniform, possibly, if he ends up getting traded. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he is here and he signs the extension and we go forward again. But we'll have to wait and see. I've always been one that likes to judge on rings. Jordan never lost the finals. LeBron has lost multiple. If you go to the quarterback conversation, Montana didn't lose. Brady lost multiple, right? So, and he cheated. So for me, when you have those conversations, that's how I kind of look at it. But Charlie or Rami, who doesn't care about championship rings, they view it completely differently. That's why, yes, it's fun to argue and debate, but there's not a right or wrong answer in this. There's just not. There's no real way to judge who really is and who really isn't. It's just opinion based. And Stephen A is just choosing to extend and continue on with his vendetta against LeBron, now using this conversation platform. So it is what it is. He's getting clicks. He's getting people talking about it. He's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. We're talking about it. We're the suckers too. All right, go ahead.
Next up, we're going to hear from NBA insider Zach Lowe as he shares an important update on the Giannis market.
But the Giannis thing, I think it's happening. Like, the teams are operating as if it's happening. Agents are operating as if it's happening. Like, they're looking at Milwaukee as a rebuilding team. They're looking at Milwaukee as a team that might have another first-round pick in the lottery and, like, scheduling their draft workouts around it. Like, everyone is just operating and getting the vibe of, like, this is going to happen. Or, like, teams that the other agents have told me, like, teams that are in the Giannis derby, like, we're acting as if they might not have their first-round pick in the draft because they're going to trade it. Like, anyway, I don't want to talk too much about that.
This is the thing. Zach Lowe was the guy on Buck stuff when Lazary was here. Since Lazary left, I don't feel like he's as connected as maybe he was prior, but he's definitely been a pro Bucks guy for all of those years, kind of was always on the Bucks side of things. But the information of, look, everybody, the agents are operating like they're going to have multiple picks inside the lottery. That goes back to what we talked about. Was it yesterday or the day before about Darius Akov working out for the Bucks? You're like, what the heck is he working out for the Bucks for? So now the question becomes, let's say they get Atlanta's pick and they're at 8 and 10. Can they take 8 and 10 and move up to the Bulls at 4? The Bulls slide down and get 2 lottery picks. The Bucks go up to get Akov, and then the Bulls slide down and get 2 another young players that can contribute to their rebuild or whatever the heck is going on in Chicago. Maybe then that makes sense of, eventually how that works out at the end of the day. It does jive with what's happening with their workouts, because they're working out guys and you're just like, what is going on? You don't have a second round pick. Why are we working out guys? You only have 1 lottery pick and these guys are all slated to go way in front of you. Why are they even working out with you at this point? So there is something to what Zach Lowe is saying here.
There is. And I think it's really exciting that they're going out here. And when you have all of these different signs, that it feels like, again, they're choosing a direction and that the rest of the league is noticing that they're choosing a direction.
For sure.
And that's all I've ever asked for from the Milwaukee Bucks at this point. Next up here, or last up, we're going to hear from Bobby Portis, who has also had his name in these trade rumors as they heat up here. This is on Run It Back, his favorite show to be on. And he's talking about hearing his name in those trade rumors.
It's hard not to see it because I'm on social media. I'm not gonna act like, what I'm saying, I don't be on social media. Some people be capping like, no, I don't see it. Like, I don't get on social media. Like, that's cap. Like, you know what I'm saying? We all on social media. We all get on Instagram. We all get on Twitter. X. They call it X now. I still call it Twitter.
It's still
Twitter. What I'm saying? We all
still Twitter.
It's still Twitter, yeah. So we all get on there. We all see it, but it don't bother me. I think if I was a second, third, fourth year, fifth year guy trying to figure out my niche in the league, trying to figure out my role in the league, then I'd be like, oh my God, I'll be asking my mom or asking my agent, like, what's going on? Like, when you're a young player in the league, you kind of read and believe everything. But I'm going on my 12th year. I'm at peace, and I'm just trying to get better at my craft every day. I've been in the lab just grinding, getting the body right for, whatever situation I'm throwing in. I'm going to be ready.
whatever situation he's thrown in is not going to be like Milwaukee.
Right.
It's just not. Like,
they love you here, man. It's going to be different.
And he knows it, right? I mean, you're in New York, you're with the Bulls. It was never like what he got in Milwaukee. The Bobby chants and the way people just adore this dude. Like, it's going to be different. It just is. And I don't know what he would say to this, but that idea of coming here and playing and then doing a handshake deal to play for less to get the bigger number from Milwaukee and trusting the Bucks will take care of you, like they said, when he took significantly less than he should have that year, and playing this out and winning a championship, like there's no guarantee what his career ends up looking like if he ends up somewhere else. Like if he doesn't end up in Milwaukee that offseason and he ends up in Memphis or he ends up in Detroit or something like that, who knows? Who knows where his career is at right now? Who knows how much money he's made in his career right now? Like that was the actual perfect timing and situation for Bobby Portis. You look up and go, thank God I got put into this situation, because it couldn't have gone any better from how I was received in the community, the results of winning every year, 50 plus games on the floor, being a chance, having a chance to play with, the greatest player in this franchise's history, one of the greatest players ever to play the game, the stories he'll have to tell for the rest of his life. It's amazing. That championship parade and being a part of that, and Bud getting hammered up on stage and everything that goes along with it. Like, that's all stuff that got him in the right situation at the right time. There are a lot of players in all sports that are good, but never end up in the right situation, and you never get to see truly what they could have been because they never got in the right situation. And then there are guys that get put in perfect situations, see Draymond Green, and are able to end up potentially putting themselves in the Hall of Fame at some point.
Well,
and if Draymond ends up somewhere other than there, say he ends up in Detroit or somewhere else, nobody's even talking about that dude about ever being in the Hall of Fame.
And what's the same between Draymond Green and Bobby Portis is a mindset of, I just need to go and do my job, and I'm happy doing my job because that's what's going to bring me success. I think Bobby Portis, this is the sign of somebody who's been in the league a long time, like he said, and has grown up in the league. When he was with the Bulls and he punched Nikola Mirotic in the face and broke his jaw, and there was all that situation going on, so they traded him to the Knicks and got him out of there. He was a completely different person and player at that time. And not only has he grown as a person, but he's grown as a player too, and changed his game to match with what he knew he could do and what other teams around the league needed. I don't think that was by incident that he ended up in Milwaukee. It was a choice and a decision to go there and play as hard as he can in the role that he's given.
People can hate on Bud and hate on how that whole thing ended, and now people run their mouth that he drinks too much and whatever else the case was going on with him when he was in Phoenix as the head coach. I don't know what if half of that's right or not right or whatever. I'm not jumping into that conversation. But the players whose lives changed because of this dude. I mean, Brook Lopez was not attempting a three-point shot with the Nets. It was not a thing. And he made Brook Lopez, by scheme, into one of the best shot blockers and defenders in the league. He changed Brook Lopez's offensive game. Now, did he change it all the way I would have wanted him to change it? No. He completely took away his low post game and his ability to score around the hoop, which was his strength. So, no, you're just going to shoot threes. He took Chris Middleton, who was a mid-range jump shooter, was not a three-point shooter, and turned him into a good three-point shooter, which just completely elevated his game to another level. There were so many guys. Bobby Portis, like you said, wasn't thought to be much. And thanks to Bud, he was able to get Bobby Portis and play him to his strengths and put him in situations to succeed and be that energy guy off the bench and convince him of what his role was kind of going forward. That was huge.
And it's not even just those guys. Like, you can go smaller guys on these teams. PJ Tucker, in the half a year that he spent here, was so integral, and he really got motivated by Coach Bud being there. George Hill really got rejuvenated in his career from being a younger player to being a really important backup piece for this Bucks team on the championship roster. Like, all those things matter, and all those go back to Bud and what he was able to do to get these guys to see the value that they have in different areas than maybe they had in the past.
And I'll take it right there to Chicago for you. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. It could not have potentially worked out any better for that dude. He gets a different guy who's not as creative, who doesn't have the patience, who's not young and all of that. And he gets some old curmudgeon that doesn't want him running around and wants to do it
Bill
this way.
Belichick's out there or something. Yeah.
Right. he probably doesn't have that year last year, and they're talking about drafting another quarterback, or they already have drafted another quarterback for the new head coach, and now he's Justin Fields, and you never get to see what he ends up being. Instead, he gets the right coach for him at this time, and providing last year wasn't a fluke, you would expect that he continues to get better under Ben Johnson. That worked out perfectly. Aaron Rodgers falling into the lap of Mike McCarthy was absolutely a perfect fit for Aaron Rodgers. Nobody was really having any success coming from Jeff Tedford when he was a head coach or offensive coordinator in college. One after another. Keely Smith sucked. I mean, go through the list. There was a bunch of them that put up big numbers in college, got to the pros, and were never good. Never worked out. Drafted high, didn't work. So here comes Rodgers, another Tedford guy, falls. They bring him in. They redo everything with him over a couple of years, and now he's, going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because of the situation he fell into. Brett Favre falls into the situation with Mike Holmgren thanks to Ron Wolf. If that doesn't happen, I don't know if he ever even gets a starting job in the National Football League. The Packers don't go rescue him. He was a third-string quarterback in Atlanta behind guys that were nothing special. Who was the quarterback there? Was it Chris Chandler, I think, was the quarterback there? But I mean, again, they just weren't – they weren't just great, but they were lucky. And sometimes luck plays into having that great career that happens at the end of the day. You get a lucky meeting. You get a chance encounter that leads to a job later in your future. And I'm sure there are those of you that are listening right now that are raising your hand going, yep, happened to me. Met this one person through this one person, and I've been in this career field forever, and I never would have been had I never met this person, right? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. That's pretty much what it is. Look at my boy Charlie over there, right? My boy Charlie over there is fresh out of college, first person we hire to come back and relaunch this station in Milwaukee. Fast forward a couple of years, and works with Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, and now he's a seasoned vet doing his thing. Again, it's timing, it's everything that kind of goes along with it. There's a chance Charlie wouldn't be in radio right now and might be doing something completely different.
And taking advantage of that
Just
opportunity
timing.
too.
Yes.
Sometimes that timing comes in, you have to say yes, and you have to be able to keep saying yes sometimes, even if it sucks saying yes sometimes, because it'll work out.
Correct. You just got to keep going. And again, all kind of chance encounters. Hey, it's not just about betting at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. There's a big food menu at the Potawatomi Sportsbook with a bunch of cool new items. All-day brunch, which we've talked about before. Now with steak and eggs, a steak and bagel sandwich, pancakes, and more. Wisconsin-style appetizers feature a lot of cheese, of course. It's got all things chicken like wings and tenders. Build your own burger. Desserts and pastries made on site every day at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel, including a MVP Turtle Sundae, tons of cold beverages to go with your all-star meal. Got to be 21 to enter the casino. Bet above the rest. Check out the Potawatomi Sportsbook today. Don't forget shuttles to and from all home Brewers games. Brewers return home to take on the Philadelphia Phillies tomorrow. The Miz on the mound tomorrow at American Family Field. So you can park at the parking garage at Potawatomi Casino Hotel and then go in the sportsbook. I think it's $5 minimum purchase that you have to make inside the sportsbook. Tell them you're taking the shuttle to give you a bracelet to put on, and then hop on the shuttle, head over to the game when you come on back. I always say you could buy a beer, whatever you want to buy there for sure, or just bet $5 for the Brewers to win with Miz on the mound tomorrow. And then when you come back, cash that ticket and
have 10
off
beers,
you go.
Maybe save the money.
Do your thing. Or just listen to Tommy on the leadoff show, and he'll give you his parlay of the day and just roll with Tommy.
Nostradamus over there, man.
Yeah, we'll see how long it lasts for. That's
Nostradamus. Oh, that's such a good nickname. Oh,
Nostradamus.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad. I'll give you that. Not bad at all. Coming up next, things that we missed on today's show is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome in. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. See Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie Usen over there. Hope y'all are doing well. If you're in southeastern Wisconsin, buckle up for the weather that's about to hit us. Buckle up, stay safe, all that fun stuff that they like to say. So, in the break, I saw a text message that came in on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line from John in Milwaukee. Hey, Sparky, Brett Favre was third string. I know. Sitting behind starting quarterback Chris Miller. That's the name that I got wrong. Who was a Pro Bowl quarterback. He was that year. And Billy Joe Tolliver was the backup. Jerry Glanville traded him away to Green Bay, right? And Jerry Glanville pretty much said he'd played the ball boy over Brett Favre if he ever had to get into that situation at that time. Chris Miller in 91 had his best year, his Pro Bowl year, I guess you could say, that year. 26 touchdowns, 18 interceptions that year. Had a passer rating of 80.6. And was in the Pro Bowl that year.
The bar was really low back then, man.
Yeah.
There was that one period where you had to be like a 4,000-yard passer at least to for sure make the, or not for sure make the Pro Bowl, but
He
have a
had
chance to make the Pro Bowl.
3,100 yards that year throwing the football.
We're kind of getting back to that, though. I feel like there's obviously because guys just don't want to do the Pro Bowl nowadays, but even so, just across the league, I think you're starting to see the number of guys that are gaining that 4,000, especially the 4,500 mark, are dwindling.
How about this? He was a part of two winning seasons in which he was the starting quarterback for majority of the season. That year, the Falcons were 9-5. The other year, in 1995, they were 7-6 with St. Louis. That year, they were 7-6. Then he retires in 96, comes back and plays in 1999. 3 years later, comes out of retirement to play for the Broncos, plays 3 games and goes 2-1. In those 3 games that he played.
I feel like it usually ends up being the Broncos that are desperate for a quarterback to come back 3 years
The Broncos just extended Sean Payton today, gave him a contract extension today. So it looks like Sean Payton is going to be in Denver for a while. And as bad as that first year was with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson and how badly that worked out, it has definitely turned a corner, I would say, down there. Okay, so earlier in the show, we played you David Haw, from Mully and Haw, 670 The Score, 104.3 The Score down in Chicago. And if you missed that, I'm going to play it again just because I think it's really funny and I enjoyed it the first time. And then I'm going to play some more entertaining audio from Chicago. Not from The Score, though, but from somewhere else. I can't get enough of this Cubs talk down in Chicago. So check this out. This is Haw, David Haw, who we have on all the time, who I love giving crap to, and Dustin Rhodes, who is a longtime producer at The Score, chimes in as well.
We celebrate the White Sox rapport, camaraderie, and chemistry in the clubhouse and the dugout. We can't just sit here and pretend like it doesn't matter with the Cubs. We can't have it count on one side of town and ignore it on the other. The Cubs are dead. I don't know what they do and how to revive it. But at some point in time, you do hold the manager responsible for the collective mentality of a sports team. And that's on Craig Counsell. Sorry, that's just the way it is in pro sports.
Get him, David Haw. Get
well,
the trader.
David, if you feel the way you do, and I understand why you feel that way, then Craig Counsell might need a couple days off.
That's great.
As we're giving players off, in all seriousness, maybe this has never been done. Maybe it's been done with a graduation party or something like that, or a wedding in this time of year. Baseball is a long season, right?
Give him a wedding.
Give him a weekend back in Milwaukee. Back in Wisconsin, let him have a family reunion somewhere. Instead of,
I think he comes here, hosts Wisconsin Sports Daily for a couple days. That'll clear his head and really make him feel good about himself.
There you go.
Don't you think we could be some good therapy for the trader?
Yeah, probably. You guys could make amends a little bit and stuff. No.
Please, moving on. I'm making amends to that dude.
Going to San Francisco with the team, jump on Air Council because he can afford it. He's handsomely paid.
Air Council
back to Milwaukee and let him have the series off. Maybe just for one weekend, somebody else needs to push the buttons. Something's got to give. It's not his fault. I mean, it's his fault, but it's not. He can't go up there and swing the bat. What happened to Nico Horner? At one point, I think I suggested to you guys, do you think the Cubs got lucky with the deal they paid Nico Horner, the extension? He's already overperforming the extension they gave him, and you guys gave out the stats about how bad he's been while the Cubs have gone bad at the same time.
Brutal.
So maybe Craig Counsell needs to take a couple days away from baseball.
So he suggests that Counsell, like, go to Mexico, go fishing in Canada, go do something, but stop managing our team and give us a break so we can figure out how to get this damn thing right. Because you're
just
not
say you want him fired. Just say you want him
Dude,
fired because that's what you're saying.
He was on with Lawrence Holmes and Speaks, right? I was listening to my car, dude. I busted out laughing. So Spiegel goes, hey, Craig, there's been a lot of talk about, behind the scenes, like, what are you guys really doing to really try and get this thing fixed, right? And just because we don't hear about it doesn't mean it's not going on, so is there a lot of stuff, going on behind the scenes that we don't know about trying to get this thing straightened out and fixed? Yeah, there was that long of dead air. He said nothing, didn't know how to answer it. And he goes, yeah. And then he goes, I don't even know how to answer that. That means the answer is no. That means they aren't doing a damn thing more than what you're hearing about. He's got no magic potion. There ain't no rah-rah speeches going on. There is nothing extra going on that Cub fans don't know about. He had nothing. The dead air was so
I don't know if that's just a no as much as hearing this guy go, hey,
he's got no
doesn't
idea.
seem like you guys are doing anything. That's basically what he said. You guys seem like you're sitting on your hands right now. What the hell's happening? And Craig kind of being like, oh, that's a little bit of a mean way to ask that question.
No, I'm telling you, I learned
like, what makes you think we're not trying? Like, this is not fun. It can't be fun to be the coach of that team.
But the question was, are you doing stuff that we don't know about behind the scenes
That's
to get
what I'm
this
saying.
fixed?
Like, that's, again, kind of insinuating that there's just nothing going on behind the scenes.
Okay, so now we have the embattled Dan Bernstein, who was let go from the Score a while back. He went off and started his own podcast, 312 Sports, down in Chicago. He had Joe Sheehan on, who's a longtime baseball writer. Used to have him on all the time. Smart dude. They start talking about the Cubs and Counsell.
The version of Counsell we got in Chicago is just, to me, strikingly different than the one we got in Milwaukee.
How
and
so?
I'm not sure if that's a smaller version of what happens with GMs so far. Sometimes a GM from a low payroll team will go to a large payroll franchise and have some adjustment issues.
David Stearns.
And it's almost like Counsell has gone through a similar thing in the managerial department where he's not quite as creative and aggressive that he was in Milwaukee. I see a level of passivity there. I see a level of not really trusting young players. I'm a little frustrated. Moises Ballesteros has played 4 complete games this year.
And they just sent down Kevin Alcantara. We were just talking about it on Off the Ivy, our Cubs podcast, about that's a guy who at one point, hot prospect, looks the look, is guy, toolsy guy. He made a terrible mistake that contributed to an avoidable loss, and he's out and down.
You want to know what's missing? Pat Murphy! That's what's missing! Pat Murphy! That's what's missing! That's why he ain't the same dude.
Chris Hook is missing.
Yeah, you're
Matt
right.
Arnold is
Right.
missing. Everything that was supporting him around him is missing.
And now you're finding out what you really got.
And now a bunch of players don't like you and they don't want to play for you. That's what it seems like.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, you're absolutely 100% right. Pat Murphy, Chris Hook. Let's start there and work your way up to the front office of Matt Arnold if you want. And the developmental part of this organization from the bottom to the top and how they develop guys. You don't have that in Chicago either. And what's going to happen is Hoyer's going to get bounced from the top of that food chain. They're going to make the next guy have Counsell for one more year, and then they'll let him do what he wants. It's really a shame that what's happened. Not really. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Thanks for listening. Coming up next, Wisconsin Sports Wrap Up with Tommy Wirtz. Have a good night, Wisconsin. Toodles.